Beaker, are you going to help me do a race recap on the CRCRC race that happened this past weekend?
Isn't that the 10 scale race?
Yeah, big 10 scale race. Tom from R1 won it, did a badass pass, won it. You know, hey, it was great.
I'd rather take this hammer and smash your fingers.
Why mine?
Well, my own too.
Yeah, you should. So I take it.
You have to find someone else to do that.
Oh,
it's
so,
10 scale.
All right, so no 10 scale talk for you? No hairdryer talk for you?
No
hairdryer. But that's all right.
In the field.
You know what? I do have two guys that like to talk about 10 scale, so I don't need you. And with that, I'm going to drop that intro.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
There we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
So Nitro's the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. And while on this podcast this week, it's 10 scales paying some bills. Welcome to episode number 161 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keena White, aka Lefty the Great, and you don't have to worry about JQ no more. I kicked him out of the studio. He wore his welcome. He's gone. He doesn't want to talk about 10 scales, so see you later. He's gone to be a tourist somewhere. So I'll link up with him later on, but now it's time to talk about the CRCRC race that happened this past weekend. 35th annual of this race. Might be the last one we're hearing, but it was well attended by many, not fully full agenda of top pros, but some of the up-and-coming top guys were there, and it made for some exciting racing. And we also gave Tom Rinnernick, I think I said his name properly, or Tom from R1, a new nickname, which is Tom for R1, because I couldn't pronounce it. So joining me this week as co-host are my good friend RC Kevin and my other good friend Tony Newland of Klinik RC. Now this will kind of be our 10 scale team going into 2022. We're looking to I'm not really big in 10 scale, but I like it. It's racing, and we want to talk about it a little bit more when there's appropriate coverage and whatnot. So they're coming on to help out with that, as well as 8 scale stuff. Tony's well versed in 8 scale knowledge. He's been doing this for a long time. He's going to be going to some races this year. Kevin is up there doing his thing in Quebec with his vlogs. He's becoming popular. He's learning a lot. He's making his way in the industry. So I'm really happy to have these guys on as co-hosts, and I hope you guys enjoy what we're trying to do here at the NNRC. We're trying to be a little bit more eclectic with our experience. Nitro will always be the glory here, but we want to branch out into other things. So with that said, I just have a few thanks and shout outs to say before we get into the CRCRC recap, as well as a big thank you to Dakotah Phend. What an excellent interview it was with him. His audio is a bit off. He had some, a fan or something on in the back. He lives in an area with not very good internet, so I tried to clean it up as best as I could. So you might hear a little bit of white noise in the back. I tried my best to get that out and just wasn't able to get it all out, but I hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed the chat with him, and it was good to get to know the Phenom and, the guy that I think is one of the fastest, most talented drivers in the world. And it was good to talk to him. So thank you to Dakotah for his time. Also, I'd like to say shout out and thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. The podcast is growing. We love it. Keep sharing it. Help us get out there. Keep downloading. We're going big this year. We're going to be working even harder. So we appreciate the support that you guys give us. We can't do it without you. Also, shout out to the patrons of the NNRC. Thank you guys. You help make my life a lot easier. Help me pay some bills. Help me buy something nice in RC when I want it or whatever. And I appreciate that. And if you wish to be a patron of the podcast, if you like what we're doing, that money goes to good use, helping us out. I spent money for the Christmas show off the Patreon. So yeah, if you want to help us out and you want to give, you like what we're doing, hey, every little bit helps on the Patreon. We might be trying to do something like a RC fantasy with them this year to see how it works with the NNRC Cup. Still working out the details on that. We'll see how that goes. Also, I'd like to shout out and say thank you to the awesome companies that advertise with us. I like to say this is advertising. Sponsoring is something different, but these companies believe in this platform to promote their products, and we greatly appreciate their support. This year, our title sponsors Invisible Speed. Look at the book over there, as well as the online course. This is something that I really believe in, that people should use. I know people will balk at the price, but it's a lot of knowledge in there. But as things get better, as the course becomes more popular, people can see that this is actually a really good course and something that will help you out in your RC. And kudos to the people that are behind it. You know, Joseph and all the guys that are the top guys that went and done this and believe in this. So I believe in this, and that is our title sponsor for 2022. Also, shout out to High Tech RC. They're coming on board again for this year. I'm super happy about that. In fact, at DNC, they'll be sponsoring our booth. So if you want to come be a part of the NNRC and want to check us out, maybe we're going to buy some swag and check out some high-tech stuff, come see us at DNC at the high-tech tent. That is where headquarters will be for the NNRC podcast. Shout out to Chris Nelson and TNR Fuels. We greatly appreciate their support. His business was booming last year. I was talking to him earlier. He's got something big in the works. Great dude. Can't wait to hang out with him at DNC. Shout out to the Mayako crew. Yeah, Mayako movement. Super happy to be a part of that. With Joseph, have not got my car built yet. He started on the shocks. That's as far as we got. Beach RC, congratulations to them signing S-Works. They'll be the S-Works distributor. They also signed with the Ultimate brand, Cole Ogden and Seth Van Dalen. And Brent Dansford also bought the Badlands racetrack, which big, powerful moves for Beach RC. I wish Beach RC and Brent Dansford all the best, and I'm thankful that they continue with the podcast. Shout out to Techno RC, probably our longest sponsor. Besides them and Papa Willie's, Techno has continued on with our podcast for another year. I think that's awesome. And I really believe in what Techno is doing. Like, I think they still have like one of the best squads out there. They have a great thing going with their team, and they have some good products, man. And it's showing, and they're putting in the work and developing their team, and people stay on there and enjoy it. And that's a good thing to see. Also, shout out obviously to Klinik RC, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic. Klinik RC, is Tony Newland's brand. They've come on. He's a co-host, so we're helping push his products as well. Lots of 10 scale products. He's got those cool new oilless air filters for your Nitro cars. Check that out. Also, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, another long-time sponsor of the podcast. We thank them for their time. Remember, there's coupon codes for them as well. Prepare for victory with Papa Willie's Traction Tonic. Lugs Racing Tires. They made some nice regional power moves this year. Colin Herzig, Tyler Braun in the SoCal area will help boost those tires. Lugs is definitely pushing forward to become to get up and challenge the top tier tire companies out there in RC. Also, shout out to Racecraft USA, the Flamingo boys. They released some new sticker packs or something last night. They had a live. It's connected with Supercross in some way, so that's really cool to see. I like those guys marketing in their way of thinking. It's super fun, and I like it. So kudos to them. Kudos to them. And of course, we have a new sponsor. We had a charge lead sponsor before with Donathan RC. We kind of, it was just something we was trying out, and we didn't really continue. But one of my friends who I've gotten to know through the JQ community and whatnot. He has his charge lead company, and it's called GSpec RC Tuning. And we would like to welcome GSpec RC Tuning on as the official charge lead company of the NNRC. GSpec RC Tuning is a small company that makes products that are often overlooked, but yet essential in being able to deliver constant performance, whether racing at the track or bashing with friends. We approach making each product with the highest level of care, craftsmanship, and attention to detail to meet the grueling demands of RC racing. Each product is track tested and made by hand in Southern California. If we don't use it in our programs, we're not making it. It's that simple. No frills, just business. It's your turn to lead the way. Now go win. We worry about the details so you don't have to. Now go win. If you want to find out some more information about what products that GSpec RC Tuning is offering, you can go visit them at www.g-specrctuning.com or hit them up at sales@g-spec. Sorry, I want to say spec because it looks like spec. Just spec RC Tuning. I know that's hard for me to say. I'm going to fumble that so much. The links for this will be in the written description of this podcast. Check out GSpec and get yourself some charge leads and help support this podcast. Also, I just want to shout out to a few special companies. Obviously, Teebs, Jared Tebow has decided to come on and help us out once a month. I think we'll have him on next week to talk about SIC. So shout out to JTP, his RC branding. They just launched their new engines, which is pretty cool, I think. And he's got his signature engine. And he's got Tebow's on the hustle, man. He gets it. He's got he's trying to get his branding out there, and he gets the whole branding. That's why he's a part of the podcast, and I appreciate his time. So let's help him out and then get some stuff from him. So shout out to Tebow and JTP. Links for that will be in the written description. Also, just some special shout outs to my buddy RC Kevin, who's been helping me out a lot. Max Mort, Rowan the Barbarian. And as you guys see, our new intro was done by Zach, who's been helping out with RCGP. And actually, I still forget the guy's name who did the mix. I met him on Instagram for the podcast. He's a RC guy, so I will find his name and I'll have it written down. And shout out to our NNRC drivers, David Runnefalk, Alex Agberg, and Jared Tebow, and probably Robert Battier, because you know what? We're starting NNRC Espanol. Yeah, we're going to do it in Spanish. Well, I'm going to try to do it in Spanish with him and a couple of other friends from South America. All right, so sorry, guys. I had to run through the sponsor thing. I know a lot of people skip through that. I hope you don't. Show the sponsors some love. We appreciate their support, or the advertisers. There's promo codes, there's coupon codes, affiliate links, what you need. And they gave us some great products for giveaways, and hopefully we'll be doing some giveaways this year. And don't worry, everybody. I'm still getting out people who want stuff. I'm slowly getting that process done. I've been kind of busy with Joseph, and these companies are busy anyway. So I knew none of this stuff was going to happen in the first 2 weeks of the year. You will get your stuff. All right, guys. So enough of the long intro and all of that. I think we're going to get right into it as RC Kevin and Tony Newland, we get together to talk about the CRCRC race. Then we go, there's no questions or nothing this week because this was kind of like a podcast that we were supposed to release earlier this week, but with the live being, I wanted the live to be the first real podcast of the year. So this is the second one. So no questions on this, just us talking about the race. And then obviously going on to the main interview with Dakotah Phend, which I thought was pretty good. So I greatly appreciate you guys' support. Enjoy this. And you know what? Don't forget to sub, like, and share on our YouTube channel and RC Kevin's YouTube channel, and show us all some love. We greatly appreciate it. Leave some reviews and all that good stuff. So with that said, let's get on to our interview. Our CRCRC race cap.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
So we had a lot of racing going on this past weekend, and we had the big 35th anniversary or 35th annual CRCRC race, which is I think it's the Winter Midwest Championships. I probably should have wrote that down. I should have, but I just know it as the CRCRC race. And joining us this week on our second show of the year of 2022 is my good friend RC Kevin. And,
hey, what's up?
And our other friend and our new 10 scale co-host. I got to stop doing that. The shadow goes in my face. Mr. Tony Newland of Klinik RC. Before we guys go on any further, I just want to say thank you to Kevin and thank you to Tony. We've been talking about this for a while. We want to put a little bit more focus on 10 scale, and I'm not really that big into 10 scale, but these guys are. So this is kind of going to be the 10 scale lineup for the NNRC this year. And of course, Tony's going to be doing a lot more 8 scale racing as well. So we will have him on when he, to fill in not just 10 scale, but these guys are both well known. They know their stuff when it comes to 8 scale. So it's just going to be a mix, but primarily 10 scale. So I want to thank you guys for that, helping us open up another little avenue. And we're not trying to 8 scale still the glory on the NNRC, but we understand that the other genres. I mean, I enjoy watching 10 scale racing. So yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate that. And if you guys haven't checked out RC Kevin, he's doing some really great vlogs. He's getting all he's like, I like it. He's got his camera and all that stuff. So he's doing them in French and he's doing them in English. He can only do so much right now because he's in Canada, but he did get a nice vlog of his home track, Kevin. I will put the link for that in this as well to your YouTube and all that, so people can go and hit that sub button.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And then, of course, Klinik RC. He's been around for quite a long time before, back in the day. And now with Klinik, and he just brought out something that we got a lot of people talking there over the silly season, which was his new air filters. And thank you, Tony. You gave a 3 of those to give away on the Christmas show. So those, I know I saw you like telling people on Facebook and all that type of stuff. But for those who may have not seen that, tell us a little bit about your new air filters and how they can be used and how they were developed, please.
So they were developed because I smoked 2 motors last year, sucking dirt, and I've raced Nitro for 25 years. So I pretty much know how to oil a foam air filter now, but there's some tracks that it's like talcum powder. It's so fine. It gets through the filter no matter what. And we were doing all kinds of stuff to try to keep the dirt out of the motor. We were wrapping it with the horse wrap. We had plastic shields we'd put over the whole entire air filter. Like, dude, I spent so much time just trying to save the motor from dying. And then these tracks are notorious for that. And so I just I thought there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to do this, So I looked into paper air filters, and paper was okay, but the performance wasn't really there for paper for our stuff. If you splash Nitro on it, you're done. You're not finishing the race, So we had to come up with some sort of filter element that would be durable and reliable and withstand all the dirt and nitro and all the grind that our cars develop. So yeah, that's where it started. Necessity is the mother of all invention. So I just figured after 30 years, there's probably a better filter design out there that just hasn't been discovered yet. So I teamed up with this company that manufactures the same type of filter, like the same idea for desert racing teams. So they do like a lot with Baja 1000 teams. So you have to go, 1,000 miles in these races, or 500, whichever race you're in. You can't stop and change the air filter. That's not an option. So this material is just insane. It's not paper. Everybody at first was like, "Oh, it's paper. I've seen this. Nothing new to see here." You know, but it's a totally new synthetic material, and it's super fine. Like, it picks out, so a HEPA certified air filter is anything that's 0.0 or 0.3 micron and smaller, and that gets down to almost bacteria. So it's very, very fine. Okay. Dust is not going to make it through there. So that was the big thing, you know. It's 100% dry, so all the dust at the track doesn't stick and accumulate on it. You know, every tank you run, you come back, the thing's completely caked with dirt. So it's worked out pretty good. Cole ran it this weekend at the warm-up race, and he was really blown away.
What happens if it gets wet?
If you saturate the entire filter, it doesn't flow. So it clogs up with the water. You'd have to like dip the whole thing in
so
water.
Nitro splash is not going to be an issue?
No problem. Nope.
Now you have the outer foam too as well, right?
Yeah, so you have that outer foam, and that outer foam's different too, and it actually repels some moisture. So it's a different type of foam. It's not a standard outer filter like we've always ran. So yeah, no problems with Nitro splashing on it, man.
Cool. Now, these can be washed and reused, correct?
Yeah. So, like I was telling guys on Facebook when it first came out, I ran the current production model for 3 gallons. Never cleaned it, just checked it, looked at it. Okay, put the cover back on it. I wanted to see like how long you could go, and 3 gallons is an absurd amount of time. Like, who's gonna go 3 gallons without checking anything, you know? So anyway, I just washed it this weekend.
Really?
It looks brand new. I have it right here in the car. Yeah.
What are you washing it? What do you wash it with? Like Simple Green and stuff like that?
Simple Green, or I like the Maxima Bio Wash. It's similar to Simple Green. You just squirt it on, and it gets real little soapy, sudsy, and then I just rinsed it under warm water, and because the Maxima is biodegradable. Rinsed it under warm water, and I kind of just shook it into a rag, into a microfiber, and then I just let it sit overnight, let it dry.
Awesome. Yeah. And how much do these cost? And people can just go to Klinik RC and pick up some. Yeah,
so KlinikRC.com, or you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. They're $28 for a filter and an outer. It seems a little spendy, but it's a new design. It's a new technology. It's made in the USA. So it costs a couple bucks to make this thing. So, but if you can go 2 gallons, you're saving a ton of money over filters and oil and, foams, all that stuff. So I think the value's there for sure. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm going to pick one up when I finally get my car built, and I would, if I ever get to run it when I get to America. But I like things like that, and it'll help save some money and make things a little easier for people in RC, because, I mean, I hate oil and filters, but we were so used to that and stuck in that frame of mind, so when anything new comes around, we always doubt it first. But excellent.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty funny that the plastic Pinion squad is talking about the Nitro new products.
That's right. This is the Pink Pinion crew. All right.
Because, 31's yellow and 33's black. So all colors and shapes.
Yeah. I have no idea about plastic pinions. So, all right, guys. So we had some... obviously this is a new year, 2022. We went through silly season. We had a very big silly season in 8 scale. Joseph and I are going to talk about that on our live, because we're actually recording this before our live. But we did have some small moves in the 10 scale world. First, I think the Rennerkick move to R1 was probably the biggest one.
Can you just say his name right?
Renderkick.
How do we say it right?
Renderneck.
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 There we go.
Renderneck. That's it.
I like Renderkick better.
I like that too. It's got a kick at the end.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna. Yeah, but And do we play by rules and
They
call
weren't
people by
calling
their right
Schmur's
names?
name right all weekend either.
Whose name?
Schmur.
Schmur.
Yeah. They call him Schmore. They call him Schmear.
Well, you know what? Funny joke. We watched A1 at JQ and I this weekend, and there was a guy.
QA.
Yeah, there was a guy named Richard Woodcock on there. So could you imagine? Like, he was a rider. So the popular nickname for Richard is So anyway, that's a hard name right there. But I forgot how to say it already. How do you say it, Kevin?
Renderneck.
Renderneck. Okay, Renderneck. It sounds like wring her neck. That's what it sounds like. You know what I mean? But Renner Connect. I said it wrong again.
He's too young for that. Don't introduce him to that yet.
Yeah, Ren Connect.
Tom.
Ren Connect.
Tom,
All right.
There we go. Tom, we got it.
All right, so
Tom from R1.
Tom, he killed it at CRCRC this weekend. We're going to talk about that. But I think this was the biggest move for me in 10 scale. He left TLR. He's working for R1 motors and ESCs. Like, do they have ESCs as well? And
batteries too.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. But he has not had a chassis announcement. I believe he ran 2 different chassis at CRCR this weekend. I think he ran Xray and Mod. I guess he ran it in stock too. And he ran a different 4-wheel drive. What are you guys' thoughts on this move? You can go ahead, Kevin.
Put me on the spot.
Yeah, you're going first.
It's interesting. I wonder if he left TLR because he couldn't race as much anymore, or if there was issues between him working for R1 and being paid by Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in the know on this one,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm curious to see what happened. Does he need to work more and less travel? He did keep JC as a sponsor, so I don't know. But Xray was milking that he was first all weekend long. That. They milked the hell out of it.
They love that.
I believe he was running TLR for his 4-wheel drive, so I don't know. It looked more like someone that was stepping away from racing, but first race of the year, he's already there and he's winning with another platform. So I don't know. I saw a lot of people leaving TLR. We're probably going to talk about people leaving AE2, but like the 10 scale crew left, especially 8 scale, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of people left TLR. So what does that mean? Again, we can only speculate. But it's I don't know. I think he wanted to work maybe a bit more, but then again, he raced the first race of the year, so maybe we'll know more in the next couple of months.
Yeah. How about you, Tony? What do you think about this move?
I mean, it's been quiet. I don't think there's anything been posted about Tom and where he's going or what he's doing. So I think, I think he just drove his stock through the roof, kind of. Pretty much whooped everybody right from the get-go. It was crazy, but watching the races, the car looked good. Xray car's good. If he's working for R1, I mean, I guess he could run whatever he wants unless somebody wants to pony up and really set him up. Not sure.
Yeah, maybe it's just like the focus is on getting their motors and ESCs out there and not really his race, like whatever chassis he is. Maybe that's where it's coming from, kind of like, hey, we just want you to win so you can run whatever. Maybe he has a deal like that, maybe, or whatever, until he gets a deal.
Would an electronic company sponsor racer from head to toe just to get his product out there?
Maybe.
I don't know. That's the thing that's weird is like, I mean, R1's definitely wanting to, duke it out in the stock market. Stock market's huge.
Yep.
Maybe there's enough money in that, they can boost some sales from this. And, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's a weird deal for sure.
Yeah. And he ran stock this week as well as Mod, but we'll talk about that when we get to the race. So yeah, interesting move, but he definitely had a great weekend. Hey man, we'll talk about that pass that he pulled, but it was really good. All right, I think the other big shock was the Norwegian Daniel Kopovic leaving Xray, going to Schumacher. I guess this is probably Schumacher's the popular car in Europe. It's a lot of carpet racing going on over there. I know that, Schumacher is pretty much known. I know, Tony, that they run dirt too, but you know what I mean. Schumacher's probably one of the best cars when it comes to carpet and astro racing.
Yeah, but Xray's pretty much second to that too.
Well, I don't know.
They're the AE versus Losi in Europe.
Yeah,
Totally.
Definitely.
And if you're on that side, you're the enemy and you're a cheater because we caught you. But yeah, I mean, Kovacic going to Schumacher, everybody in America is like, whatever, but for Europe, it's kind of a big deal because you're going to the arch nemesis. Yeah.
Yeah, I never even thought of it like that. Yeah. Wow. He's like taking all their secrets over to Schumacher. Very good. I love it.
Yeah.
You got some controversy going on there.
Yeah, it's a little dicey deal, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, pretty strange. And then the young French driver, Clement Boda, he left AE. Also saw that he signed with JC. I was thinking maybe he's going to Schumacher as well, but then maybe I was thinking that he might be going to Xray to take Kopovic's place. But Xray has a plethora of young. Did Kopovic went to? He was in Florida too, right? Yeah, but he didn't do too well. He didn't do too well.
He was.
But
C main, he was back in the pack.
Yeah. But they had that other young guy that did really well in stock and mod and whatever. But maybe Clement goes to Xray. You'll see. It's interesting. He's been with Associated for quite a long time.
But I think the two American brands lost a lot of players in Europe.
Yeah,
TLR and AE lost a lot of Euros.
Yeah, I was really shocked to see Clem. I think this kid's even come to America to race at some point.
Yeah,
I think
he's been to the Reedy race.
Yeah. So, that's like you said, Tony, maybe not a big move in America, but in Europe, in France where racing's pretty big, it's definitely something that we looked at. And then next up was Blake Champlin joining his brother Brock at Schumacher from AE. So I guess this was a natural progression, being as Brock's a part of Schumacher. I guess it was only bound to happen, I guess, with maybe, I don't know, but and he's good. So another decent 10-scale driver from the AE stable moved over. Any thoughts on that? Let's go with Kevin.
Did he join
Kevin and Tony?
Did he join the LRP too? Do you know, Tony?
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
It's probably just a natural because they do travel together a lot. I don't think Brock left in the best of terms with AE. So maybe Blake was chastised or something like that. So I'm not sure.
Well, didn't Blake work at Didn't he work at AE?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, he worked there.
Huh.
That was his job.
Probably not anymore.
No.
Probably not packing kits anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought was a little strange. Like,
oh, you're right. I didn't think about that one. I don't know.
Interesting.
But it makes sense. Put them together. Put them on the same plane. Send them the same tires. Type. Oh, he's JC, but yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
It's just natural.
Sweet. Yeah.
We're going to talk about LRP and Michael splitting ways.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, because he went to Hobby Wing.
And Cav too.
Yeah.
It was weird. Like Cav was usually Hobby Wing is super pro and has really nice presentation. I don't know if it's Charlie that does that or whatnot, but I felt like it was just done with PowerPoint with Cav's image on it. Was it a last minute deal or something? I don't know. It was everything was doing big news, but Cav to Hobby Wing like just under the table and just a side note.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Orlovsky and him will be teammates. They're both teammates at Hobby Wing and Sunderpal. I see that Sunderpal went into the pockets deep and sponsored a lot of 10 scale drivers on road and off road going into this year.
They go in phases, eh? Like you'll see them for 2-3 years really, really high. They'll drop everyone. They'll come back 3-4 years later.
Yep. Oh yeah. I agree.
I guess it just kind of is what it is. I mean, do they still have that? Do they still have that track? That is Thunder Powers where they had the Worlds
2017.
Yeah. So do they still have that facility and whatnot in China?
I don't know.
No clue.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We don't know. So
you don't hear much from China, anyways.
Yeah, I think I don't see any real big disadvantages for these guys riding in hobby wing.
No,
so,
absolutely not.
Yeah, they'll be fine. Hobby wings come so far. Like I remember guys saying, "Remember when everybody was laughing about it when it first came out?" No, look. So, congratulations to them. I think the biggest thing for me is what is Mayfield doing for 10 scale this year? We have heard absolutely nothing about this. Anybody
Will Lee
has
run 10 scale?
Excuse me? Will he?
I'm pretty sure JC's going to ask him to run.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to take care of that bill? JC, 1UP?
No say. I don't know, dude. What's going to happen there? What about you, Tony? What do you think? What's up with Mayfield? Do you think he's coming on, winding on his 10 scale career and going to just stick to 8 scale?
I don't know. In a perfect world, you could probably hope to be in that position, kind of like Supercross, where you can only sign a Supercross contract. You don't have to run outdoors, and kind of a parallel with that, because I think, just my opinion, 10th scale is kind of losing like its allure a little bit. These races seem to be just kind of doing this slowly, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, with these guys, it basically comes down to a paycheck. Who wants to pay me? And he's got to run a car that doesn't have an 8 scale, because he's not dumping Mugen at this point. So who's that leave? Like Yokomo, Schumacher, but that ain't gonna happen. Who else? Like,
I don't know.
PR Racing.
PR.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen either.
Drake signed up with those guys. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, what's left really? And what if he doesn't go with a 10 scale ride? What if he just bags it all together for a year? Because this year's an 8 scale world.
Exactly.
10 scale worlds isn't for 2 more years.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do it too much.
We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. It's funny, like how the older pros don't really want to run 10 scale anymore. On the pro level, I think it's losing a bit of its allure, like you were saying, or just shininess. But I think the younger crowd, like the 17.5 and the mod guys, there's still that crowd that's growing. But on the other side, like the pro guys, they don't want to wrench on tires anymore.
Yeah.
But companies are coming out with good slicks, so that might change the game too. But like grinding tires sucks.
Oh, dude. There's nothing worse than buying tires, gluing tires, grinding tires, saucing them, warming them, running them for one night, and then redo it again.
But I think something was pretty interesting. I believe it was Q3. Tom from R1 was just put on brand new tires for his run, and he was saying that it was the best feeling ever. So if we can go back to glue them running, I think that's going to be a savior, because grinding tires sucks.
Yeah. And we were talking, me and Keenan were talking yesterday, I think.
In my back? Without me?
Behind your back, yeah. It was actually about you, but I'm not going to tell you that part. So we were looking at the Mod Buggy A main and who's in there, and it's pretty funny. It's like a bunch of kids, and then there's one that's, like you said, the older crew, So I think the 10 scale appeals to the younger crowd more.
It's not as pricey. That's a big difference too.
Yeah, and it's not as intense at the race because even the club race, you got to have a fairly good pit guy and stuff. Like you got to have more things to have a good day, you know. These kids, they can throw their stuff in their car and run to the track and go throw down some heaters, you know. So, and I think they're good at that too. Like the younger generation, I think they're good at reacting to the car and things like that. Like one little quick thing I noticed yesterday, I don't want to drag it on, but in one of the four-wheel mains, I think every single car on the track crashed. And I was like, wow, these guys are all really, really good. They're like the top few percent of our hobby. And every single one of them crashed in this main. So it's like, wow, are the cars too fast, too much grip? What makes it so hard that they crash, that they make a mistake? You know,
track was hard, grip was high. Yeah. That back section where you were jumping the double and you had that small S section, it was pretty much a funnel. And I don't remember who told me that. I think it was Kevin Hebert about on-road, is stock guys usually go almost as fast as mod guys, but it's trying to hold on to that baby for 5 or 8 minutes. That's the real challenge. Is that what we're going to see with the really high level of grips and whatnot in off-road? So the more skilled drivers are going to go in mod, but they won't go as fast because it's so hard to handle.
Yeah. We looked at the times. We looked at the times from the 17.5 mains.
Yeah, you're right.
From the mods, and Tom's times would have put him second or third in the mod main
to himself.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny, we take a look at the two-wheel drive main, and the two older guys are Spencer Rivkin and Dakotah Phend.
There's one
22 and a 24-year-old.
Yeah, and Evans, but Evans is like 40.
Dustin's hanging in there, yeah. But
he didn't make the two-wheel drive main.
Nope. Just four-wheel and truck. Yeah.
But my question would be, let's. I know we're gonna go into the race real quick, but I just wanted to finish up on Mayfield. I think all right. So real life's catching up to a little bit. Second baby, you know. I know when my second baby came along, life got a little bit more difficult. You want to spend some time there. His 8-scale schedule is probably jam-packed this year as well as most of these 8-scale guys. Yeah. So I think, like you said, it's a world year. They're going to focus on that. That's the big focus. But it just seems so weird without, we didn't have Tebow, and now we don't have it. Like, we didn't have Cav at this. I'm sorry, we didn't have Mayfield at this race, and it's going to be kind of weird not having these guys who have been a staple at these races. I mean, I think even Cav did not want to run 10 scale anymore at one point.
But I'll throw this out there, and I'll go back to tires. Is slicks ready to run going to save dirt off-road? Because Cav has been running carpet off-road for a while because you just need to glue tires and that's it. How is that going to affect? Because, again, prepping tires is a big portion of work.
I think you're just going to see more carpet and Astro tracks pop up. That's all. It's just so much easier. So much easier.
And it's easy for the track too. I mean, the racers have a ton of work with dirt. The track has a ton of work with dirt. When you have carpet and you have 8 jumps to choose from and you just move them around, you're done. New track, let's go. I mean, the dirt racing is pushing towards the grip of carpet. Like the CRC, there were a few spots where I was like, wow, that car just turned like
the non-watered part, right?
Oh my God, like so quick, so it's like it's halfway there. Just go the rest of the way,
I think that these guys still are good enough there. They can don't really focus on 10 scale at all this year. You know what I mean? And get ready for the Worlds in 2023. And I think that's just the best way to do it, because if they don't, they'll probably be on the road for, 8 scale and 10 scale, man. You'll be on the road for 4 weekends of the month if you really think about it at a different race nowadays. So,
and especially the 8 scale schedule, I think it's very jam pack early because there was DNC, there's SIC, there's Silver State, Roar
Nationals,
everything in the first like 4 months. So
yep.
I'll probably be needing a break to prepare for the Worlds too.
Yeah, crazy. But that all comes on to he still needs a 10 scale paycheck though. You know what I mean?
He still have it. He didn't say the opposite. He's dropping Yokomo. So
yeah, that's what. So maybe he's worked out something with Yokomo to where he can stay on, and they're just like, hey, just stay on until whenever.
They just drop us.
Yeah.
Well, they just came out with new cars, so
yeah. And it's known that he gets a pretty decent salary from Yokomo. You know what I mean? The 10 scale part of his salary, is a big portion of his salary.
Well, he was a world champ, so
yeah.
Is that subsidized by A-Man, or is that all from Yokomo?
I'm sure there's some subsidies from A-Man, just like I think even his Mugen contract is not all Mugen USA. I think actual Mugen Japan takes care of some parts of his contract. And also, you got to understand, I know we're going on Mayfield, he also lost MX support this year. And I know that the old man from MX paid a lot of these. He paid all these guys handsomely, and he also contributed to a lot of their travel. So that's all going to be made up for in some form with Mayfield. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. Seems like he's staying with Yokomo, and he's probably worked it out. Hey, I'm on a limited schedule. This is what we can do. So we shall see. All right. So it's a great segue. CRCRC race. I don't know much about this race. I just know that this race, it used to be the first big 8 scale race of the year. It was always the 10 scale race the first week. And then it was the first big 10 scale race. And then it was the first big 8 scale race back in the day when probably Tony and I were geeking out, on 8 scale. 35 years old. Tony, can you give us a little bit of history on this race? Have you been to this race?
I've never been to this race, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I've read about it and heard about it and for years and years. And like you said, early probably 2000s, it's pretty big race. Yeah, it was almost Nitro Challenge type race, pretty crazy, a lot of coverage and a lot of entries, and long running race.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. In Ohio, right? Ohio RC Factory, it's called. Yeah. So, I mean, last year was a pretty good race there. We had I think all the top guys went there. I even think Mayfield might have been there last year, if I'm not mistaken.
That was the takeout race. Remember the takeout?
Yeah, wasn't it?
The takeout.
Wasn't it the takeout between Phend and
Rivkin?
Oh, that's when
he was turning. No, he wasn't. Yes, he was.
That's your super slow-mo of 180p quality video.
Yeah, I remember I made a big deal about
pixel?
this.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it looks like a tire. We're going with it.
Right, I forgot about
it's
that.
All Rifkin's fault.
My brain goes through so much stuff. I can't remember. All right, so let's look at this race. Couple of things. All right, so where do we want to start on this? Tony, you watched this race a lot this weekend.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, give us some of your thoughts on, because you was messaging me during seeding and stuff like that. We was talking in our group chat. What were your thoughts on seeding? Some guys were fast in seeding, and then they blew out in qualifying, and we saw a few names that we thought we would see on podiums. Like, I'm gonna say it. Like, I thought Born a Crime, Matt Gonzalez was gonna be like, I was expecting a podium from Born a Crime, but man, he wasn't in either the A-Man. Rough first race of the year in mod. Like, hey, welcome to the big boy class, Matthew Gonzalez. And Joseph and I talked about this weekend, and it's like, dude, he goes, Keenan, man, mod's hard, dude. Like, you don't get it. Like, and so it's a big step up from when you get used to that. And he just said it's hard, and he said he'll figure it out. But I mean, this is like your first race of your mod career. You want to do well. So I know this had to hurt Born a Crime's confidence. But don't worry, Born a Crime, I still have faith in you.
Well, he did I think 2 races at the end of 21 in mod, but at his home track, which he did really, really well because he knew the surface, he knew everything. On that new surface, I don't know what his setup was or what his preparation to the event was, but I don't think he was comfortable the whole weekend. He broke the 4-wheel drive B main too, so it was a rough weekend.
The first race he ran mod was the Top Gun shootout. And he did pretty good. I think he podiumed or close. I don't remember, but I think he was probably like, wow, this isn't too bad. And then he went out to Ohio and it was like, I know on his Facebook post today, he was like, I was making wholesale changes. Everything was garbage, you know? It's tough. It's tough to throw everything in a bag and go somewhere and put it on the track and it's dialed. Like stock, it's a little easier because the power is applied a little easier. So you might be able to get away with some deficiencies in your driving and your setup, and the car's still okay, you know? But mod, I think it's going to show you where your weakness is right away, and you got to fix it, you know.
And trying to go for corner speed or trying to go one way on the setup, but it doesn't forgive on the power band side. It's hard.
And this track's so high grip, like you said, like, you know, it's instant penalty, you know.
Well, we've seen this before. I'm going to bring up his name, Drayton Staub, Dragon. Who did really well at this race. He was a super fast stock racer, you know, the next big thing. And when he went up to mod, he struggled. But he went back to stock, caught himself, and I guess he's back in mod. I hope he's racing more. You know, he raced last year, but not as much as we thought he would. He had a good weekend this weekend. But I think Matt can take from this. He'll learn because you know the best way to get better is to get your ass kicked.
Or you got to get beat down sometimes.
Yeah, and you got to just climb back up. You know what I mean? It's just how it is, man, and that he'll get there. Like, I'm full confident that he'll get there, but I still believe that you need to run Nitro, Matthew Gonzalez. But I still have faith in you, dude. You're gonna do it for Mexico all the way. So, but it was definitely a big surprise for him not to be in the mains, though. For me,
I think he was surprised.
Yeah. So.
But then again, who takes care of his Nitro program?
JQ. Him and JQ are friends. No, he would. No, I mean, who would pit him? No, he needs pit. He always tells me he needs a pit guy when he does that. You know what I mean? I think that's a lot of guys they want that really good pit guy. But hopefully we get to see. I'm not worried about Matthew Gonzalez. I think he's going to step up to the plate, get things right. Yeah, he'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it at all. All right, so let's talk about. All right, so let's just talk about Klinik, who had a great weekend. Tony was like, Klinik's a beast. And I was like, what are you talking about, Tony? And then when I saw the pass that he pulled on, was it on Horn?
It was on Drayton.
Yeah, it was on Drayton.
It was on Drayton. So like they're all friends too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was some exciting racing at the end. He hit that, it was A2, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he hit the, They started to catch each other up, and he hit that corner. Like, I saw a lot of people hit that in that chicane type of thing, and I was like, "Oh, it's all over." And then when he came back and he made that pass on that that was awesome.
The last lap, he had like 20, 30 feet to make up.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Okay," you know.
I was watching the race. I got a text, blinked, brought my eyes up. I'm like, "What the hell happened?"
Yeah.
What an awesome pass. What an awesome comeback, man. What did Drayton just kind of do you think Drayton just kind of said, I got this in the bag? Or I didn't see him make too many mistakes to allow that to happen.
I think he got a little nervous. When he got in the lead, he was like, oh shit, now I'm in the lead. Now I'm in the lead. Don't screw up. And that's when you like put it in the wall, you know. I saw his car like kind of doing some weird stuff, so I think he was a little nervous up there, but
it's easier to chase.
Yeah, you get out front and it's the last lap, you're like, what do I do?
But yeah, Klinik would take the win both A1 and A2 in like just A1 in commanding fashion.
And I'll just call the elephant right now. You want to talk about him running stock and mod?
Of course I do. But I have to give him his credit where it's due, because he had the pass of the race. I tell you who would have had the pass of the race if it was clean. It would have been Rivkin over Horn. And he overjumped him. And that's when I knew Tony was talking about. I knew what you're talking about then. But that if he would have pulled that off, it would have been the pass of the race.
There was no pulling that off. Somebody was going home on the wrecker. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and actually that was Aiden Horn who got the worst of that, and he shouldn't have. And he and Rivkin got away with. I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm sorry. I know he's your guy, but he got away with a big one on that one. Yeah. He risked it, and he didn't lose anything on that. He gained on it. And poor Aiden Horn, his teammate. That's the other thing, too. I'm telling you, there's something good. I'm telling you, I know it. Aiden's the young guy coming up. Spencer's the older veteran now. He's seeing what happens. He's seeing himself in Aiden coming up. I'm telling you, there's something coming on there. There's something coming on there. I can sense it. My spidey sense senses it. But, yeah, Rivkin in third.
Are they friends?
I don't know. I guess, yeah. I mean, I think all the AE got, wow, who knows? You know? But Aiden Horn had a very good 2021.
He's coming.
Yeah,
He's
very
coming.
good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I saw that when I watched that pass live. I was like, it's all or nothing. That was with that. That was a little frustration, I think, too, because in the beginning, I think Aiden tagged that pipe and it kind of caused a huge pile up.
Yes.
And I think Rivkin got shuffled back a little bit, and then he spent the rest of the main chipping away and knocking guys off, and then he got to Aiden, and I think he was like, I have zero patience. I'm going for it. You know what I mean? Like, and he sent it, and it worked out for Spencer. But
yeah, but he had pace too. Like, it happened in two-wheel drive.
Sure.
It happened the same thing in A2. Like, Spencer was there. He was stuck up between either Drayton or whoever, and he just couldn't make it. So he tagged the pipe. Someone tagged the pipe. So he'll lose like 1-2 spots, but he's still faster. So he was. Yeah. Anyways, that's racing, guys.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah,
that's how it goes. Let's just go through the top 10 real quick, and then hold on, where was I?
Four-wheel.
Yeah, two-wheel drive. So, like I said, it was Renonic, Staub, Drayton Staub. Great two-wheel drive performance for Drayton Staub. I'm glad to see him racing. I've had him on the podcast. I know his dad, Chad. He ran JQ for a while. He set the world on RC world on fire. Everyone was talking about Drayton. Another one that I think needs to run some more Nitro, but good result for him, man. Good result for him, I'd say. That was a hard fought second for him. Rivkin, Aiden Horn, just missing out on probably getting a third place. And then I would say a great fifth for Lee Setzer. He's really hit the 10 scale track a lot in the last few months, and I'm pretty sure he'll be at SIC. So Cole Tollard probably would not be happy with a sixth place. Cole Tollard would want to be winning, trying to win this, or definitely be on the podium. Definitely not a very good weekend for two-wheel drive for Phend.
Do we know if he was running the new car prototype?
I have no idea.
I'm sure he was. Yeah, I think he broke. Okay. He broke quite a bit.
Yeah. All right. Chase Lemieux. Who's this? Chase Lemieux. I know Aaron Kaufman.
That's Paul Lemieux's son.
Really?
He got second in one of the mains.
Wow.
Second or third. I know Rivkin was chasing him, but Chase just kept it together. Yeah.
Wow. How old is he, do you think?
He's young. I don't know for sure, but I would say teens, early, mid-teens maybe.
Okay. Well, the apple does not fall too far from the tree, it seems. So
yeah, he just started racing recently, I think a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely going to be one to be looking at her in the future. Aaron Kaufman, another great Northeast racer, TLR racer, him, very nice family. Austin Wick, I've heard the name. I'm not familiar with him. And Charlie Marinara, I've seen his name pop up a lot in all 10 scale races here recently. So, like I said, man, a good. I think Dustin Evans will be disappointed for not being in her as being a 10 scale specialist. Obviously, like we was talking earlier, Born a Crime definitely would want to be in her. Who else can be?
I'll give a small shout out to Dylan Raposo, a 12-year-old kid from Canada, lives in Toronto. Xray driver that drove to the state, race mod. He had a rough time in two-wheel drive because, you know, he had to take his PCR tests to get back. So he missed one of the quals and was stuck in the jungle. But I think he finished eighth. Let me see. In the four-wheel drive overall, he finished 20th, just one place before Matthew Gonzalez. So really young kid, really talented. That's a name to remember because I think he's going to be really fast in the future.
Yeah. I know Dylan as well. Watched him running some 8 scale stuff. He's really good. Really good. Nice family. Looking at some of the probably most known for 8 scale guys, Tyler Jones in 12th, Spencer Hackett in 13th. I believe they are both running S-Works 2-wheel drives.
Tyler's running Losi.
Is he? I thought he had S-Works for some reason.
No, he just switched
Tyler Jones. He's running for Techno 4-wheel and Nitro and 8 scale, and then he was running for Schumacher last year in
that's what I thought. Yeah,
but then got a Losi now.
Yeah, I think also who would be disappointed with their performance at this race will be Tater Sontag. You know, set the world on fire in stock. Seems to be struggling this year. Well, you know, he's 19th, but let's see what Tater can do.
Dustin Evans in 15th.
Who was that?
Dustin Evans.
Yeah, Dustin Evans, man. I don't know, man. I think it's time for Dustin Evans. I don't know. I'm not trying to say nothing. I'm sure it's still of value, but I mean, he would be very disappointed for not being in the A main. So,
well, and this year for this race, I don't want to rub salt in it, but it was a really small turnout. It seems like, you know, I think years ago there was 500 entries, you know, and 200 people. Where this year there was like 130 people and 300 something entries, you know.
Yeah, but if you take a look at top 15 in pro, or mod, or whatever you want to call it, the usual names are there, except maybe a couple of breakout. Like Chase could be probably one of them. Like there's a couple of breakout performances, but all the regular names are there. So,
well, now what I'm saying is, no Mayfield, no Cavallari, no Tebow,
no Ty,
no Tasman.
Like there's you know 5 or 6 spots that if you finished 19th at this race and then they had a full attendance, you would be 25th. Like you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about. Like the attendance, that you know, not a full house of top national guys. You know,
right. I think we're just gonna have to get used to that, though. I think we're gonna see Cav at a lot of these races, but we'll see. It's just gonna be weird. It's gonna be a transition for us, I think, not to see these guys there. But like I think it's gonna come back to it when they start taking this seriously again. The cream will always just rise to the top. So it's these young races like Drayton, Tom, Aiden, Lee, even Cole. I hate to say Dakotah's only 24, but I'm not too worried about Dakotah because he'll be there. But this is a great time for these guys to hone their craft and get ready for these guys when they do come. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think we're going to see a lot of things like Lee Setzer, Aiden Horn, and Tallard, and it's going to be, and even guys like Kaufman, because Kaufman's been making a lot of A mains as well, even with Cavallari and Tasman and those guys there. And so it's gonna be interesting to see.
Just one point: his mom is a workhorse at every track they race.
Very nice.
I saw them. I saw his family at Beach RC a couple of years back. I was watching practice, so I want to talk about the format of the race afterwards. But like in practice and seating, you would see his mom on the track all the time, blow the track. His dad works really hard too. Like these guys have it dialed, and they work so hard. That's
very nice family.
That's the way it should be.
Very nice family. I met them at the Nationals last year. Very nice. Definitely going to have to get him on her and talk to him.
Can we talk about the format?
Yeah, sure. What about it?
That's a 10 scale race. So, yeah, having quals on Friday and Saturday is pretty fun. But they had practice on Wednesday, another practice on Thursday. Don't you think like a 10 scale race shouldn't be like 5 or 6 days?
Not with 130 people.
Yeah, not with the little bit of entries that they had.
It's a lot of commitment to travel and do stuff like that. Is it really worth it?
How many total heats was there? I forgot.
Let me go check.
Pulled up there.
So for race with all their AAA mains and everything, they had 55 heats. But like they had entry count.
How much for qualifying?
I'm all over the place. Give me a second. 38.
Yeah, that's 5 days, quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that's 136 people with 345 entries. That's a lot of people, a lot of heats for maybe nothing.
And then was it 5 days? So yeah, they got to slim this down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Wednesday, Thursday, qual on Friday, and so on.
Yeah, I mean, this could have started on Friday even. You know what I mean?
Or just to have 1 day of practice. Doesn't matter if it's limited practice. Everybody's going to have the same amount. You do controlled practice, so everybody goes on the track 3 or 4 times for 4 minutes or something like that. But if you have a schedule, it's less days off from work. It's less travel. It's less days off from school for kids. It's all stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think with this race being so long, this probably affected the turnout of this race. I don't think that's something we're going to talk about here at the end. I think this might be the last of this race. So it would be a shame if if it didn't get the high entry count. But it also comes down to a little bit what you kind of said earlier, Tony. Even just, maybe on a regional level, 10 scale's booming. You know what I mean? But on a national level, going to these type of things, we're probably not seeing as many people traveling to this. You have your stock guys that travel, and then obviously your mod guys traveling.
Yeah, but having an indoor race, I just cut you off, buddy. I'm sorry.
Sure, no
but
worries.
Having indoor races, wouldn't that be the perfect occasion to try and have longer days? Like, let's have 3 long-ass days instead of stretching it on 5 days. I was talking to it right before you froze because, yes, this is going to be edited and Keenan froze with a beautiful picture. So, you know what? Like, this is a 5-day. I just sold a punch, I know. So this is a 5-day race. So if you want to get there for Wednesday practice, you need to take Tuesday off because obviously you need to be there when the doors open. So that's 6 days of a hotel. That's like $800 plus tires, plus parts, plus food and all the jazz. So it does make that race very costly. It's as expensive as going to DNC or Silver State or one of those big race. And I don't know what the race fee count was, but it's probably wasn't $20. So if we want to have 10 scale keep on growing and save the national-ish level, stop with the 5-day events.
And that goes to 8 scale too. You know what I mean?
You know, if you want to do like, let's do open practice on Friday, and worst case scenario, no one practices. It's going to be the same thing for everyone. Everybody's going to be equal. So less practice. Let's do maybe 1 qual on Friday night, 2 quals on Saturday, and let's go to sleep very late. But it's better that than taking 5 or 6 days off. And if you want to bring your kid to that race, first week, right back after New Year's. Oh, by the way, on a 5-day school week, you're taking 3 days off.
Yeah,
your kid's going to be super happy. Maybe not your wife, and maybe not the teacher.
Yeah,
and not bank account after Christmas and New Year's.
That's another thing too.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
bad.
Yep. Okay, so moving on, we'll get on to 4-wheel drive. Dakotah Phend, the Phenom, he dominated, won A1 and A2 in dominating fashion. Nothing much to say about that. He kind of pulled away, and that was it. I don't think anybody challenge him at one point in the 4-wheel drive, man. No. Phend just was like, I'm on cruise control. I got this. I'm a veteran at 24 years old. Actually, he's the main interview on this week's on this podcast as well, and it was a really good chat with him. So
the best part is
going to enjoy that.
The best part is we probably have 10 more years of racing for Dakotah Phend and Rivkin. That's going to be amazing.
10 more years of them battling each other. And the rivalry brews. I can't wait.
Keenan with
I'm stoking that fire. Aiden Horn, man, edged out his teammate Spencer Rivkin. That rivalry is brewing too. Close one. I think Aiden got a second and a fourth and a first. So to Spencer's third and second. I think Spencer is hungry to win something. Period. You know what I mean? He came very close last year in 8 scale. He is. I don't care what you're gonna say here. It's definitely Aiden's the young guy coming up to him, even though he's young, and he's got a Spencer. Even though he's the number, we know that he's the number 1 AE guy in America. But I think you got guys like Aiden Horn and Cole Tallard, and then you got guys like Lee Setzer, who's probably a little lower than that, coming after him. But
Lee's pushing. Lee's working really hard on his program.
Yeah. Tyler Jones wheeling the Techno 4-wheel drive, which I guess we don't see too many guys running this car. I mean, in 4-wheel drive. So he got a 5th. He got gifted a 2nd in that pile up in A2, and he came out of there and got a good 2nd place against Dakotah. And of course, we had Tom from R1 and a great 5th place and another solid performance for Lee. Austin Wick. Who is Austin Wick? Do you guys know who he is? I'm sorry, Austin, if I don't know who you are.
He's a Midwest guy, I think. We see his name once in a while. Mm-hmm. But I was trying to remember what he drives.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what car he drives, but I think he's fast. Does he have a brother too? I think.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm sure we'll find out after this podcast.
He qualified 16th to get in the 7 spot. So bumped from the B main. He did good.
No.
Yeah, that's good to see. Cole Tallard, he would be disappointed with 8th. You know, he's I think he's finished school, so he's doing this full time or as best as he can full time. But Cole will get it. Very great driver though. Good driver, nice, mild-mannered young man. I like Cole a lot. And the veteran, Dustin Evans, 10 scale specialist, a 9th. Still, but you know, he would, but I guess that's good for him. He made the A. And Tater Sontag, 10th, and Drayton, not a good 4-wheel drive performance at all. 10th, 9th, 10th. But yeah, it'd be good to see Drayton get up there and get a good podium and do well. I know he's better than his results. So anything you guys want to talk about or take that you took from the 4-wheel drive finals before we move on and talk about stock a little bit?
I think we touch everything.
No.
Sweet. All right. So I have to ask this because I asked this in the NNRC Discord, and I know this happens. So Renner
Tom from R1.
Tom for R1. I'm sorry, Tom, man. I'm sorry I butchered your name, man. I am so sorry. I apologize. Tom for R1, he ran stock and killed it there as well. Now, I asked, how does this happen? Right? Because, you know, my brain thinks like stock is like open. You know what I mean? Or stock is as we said, what was it? Spec mod we called it, Tony?
It's not stock. It's definitely not stock.
But how can he, so if, look, I'm like, extra track time does help. It's gotta help. It does help. He ran a 2-wheel drive main in stock and then comes right away and does a 2-wheel drive mod main right after that. I mean, the rules allow for it. So per rules, it's okay. But doesn't this happen in other races as well? Or what's the deal with this? Go ahead, Kevin. You're always going first.
He's brewing up there.
So if this guy works for a motor company, he has to represent his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If Tom would have only raced mod, his name would have been running again, not Tom from
Right.
R1.
Right.
Like, let's go over the other names. No one, we have a hard time remembering the chassis. No one gives a crap about what motor they run. But it's as important. Having a good ESC and a smooth motor is as important in mod as to have something that's super powerful in stock. But then again, if his job is to sell motors, and he's not a sponsored driver, he's also working for the company, he didn't really have a choice to run stock. But it's the same debate that JQ has been bashing over Drake. If you can run 40 plus, you can't run pro.
Yeah, I get that part. I get the business side of this. I really do. I understand that. But I guess at one point because let's just be honest, like stock is just way bigger than mod, and I just don't see mod ever getting to that ever again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know it's not an argument in other countries because they don't have stock in mod and all that stuff, but it is an American thing, and stock is where the money is and where these companies are making money. But so this is like AJ Marasco, because AJ Marasco works for Trinity. You know what I mean? And so he's like forever going to be in stock because that's where the money is. So are we going to see that type of choice with Tom? Is he going to have to just stay in stock? And I don't know, like, what's going on with this?
It's just like Gonzalez.
Yeah.
For the last 2 years, what's he done? Run stock. Why?
Right.
Because pays the bills, pays one of those bills, pays, Phenom's bills, that's the way it is right now, So if Tom's working for R1 says, hey, we want to be out there and more relevant and promoting, maybe win this race. Let's run 17.5. Did he run 13.5 4-wheel? I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
No.
So that's a little strange. I would have, if I was running R1, I'd be like, Tom, 17.5 2-wheel, 13.5 4-wheel. You can play in mod if you want, but those are the two. That's what we're sending you for.
Maybe by not having a chassis sponsor, or he didn't have the option parts to run stock, or he wasn't ready to compete with the other 13.5 guys. But imagine getting stuck in seating. Like, there's 86 drivers. So take whatever second half name. Imagine getting stuck in seating, or if Tom would have broken in seating, being stuck with the jungle in the back. Imagine Mr. 82 that's stuck on the same heat as Tom. There's no way these 86 guys in stock were high level sponsored drivers, but they run 17.5 in their club race. So I'll enter 17.5, but being stuck in the J main is hard. Like we need to find a way to separate Joes from pros.
21.5. That's the real stock class.
There you go.
I agree. But then
17.5 is psycho. Okay. Imagine if you started RC today. You went and got a car, build it, come to the track, prep your tires. Let's say you had somebody there holding your hand, doing everything, all this little stuff you got to do. You go out, you run novice for 2 months. You're like, I'm done with novice. I'm running up to stock. You go run 17.5. Dude, you're going to get lapped like 8 times at a club race.
We don't have novice here, but we run 17.5 fixed timing motor. So instead of putting $150 in a R1 Trinity or whatever brand you want to talk about, you're going to be running a fixed timing motor with everybody's on the same thing. But like our lap times are pretty close together on a below average talent pool, But
so
go ahead.
I guess we just have to look at this like 450 and 250, like motocross. So you like Christian Craig, he's 30 years old and still doing 250 class. You know what I mean? Davalos spent his whole career in pretty much in 250 class. I think if we kind of just look at this like that, it will make a little bit more sense. But I like that thinking, but I think it comes down to, all right, so are you going to focus on just that class, or is it fair to dabble in both? And I guess it's fair if all the top guys do that as well. But I mean, that's just another class to add if they're running like stadium truck, 4-wheel drive, adding 2-wheel drive. So I don't know if we look at it like that, and it's the 250 class, and the ultimate, it's still the ultimate goal should be get to the 450 class at the end of the day. But
I don't know, because look at Christian Craig. So Christian went through 250s with Honda, did pretty good, won some races. He never won a championship, and then he went up to 450s, and he was mid-pack lap down. Okay, instantly he's nobody. Okay, you're part of the rest of the guys. So Christian dumps Honda, goes to Yamaha. I think he ran a season on 450s, got smoked, went back down to 250s. Now he's the man. Guess what? Guess what? He's making money.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we have to look at it
as. He's making
as.
money. So he's making himself relevant, because now everybody's talking about him. If he finished 14th in 450s on Saturday, who would be talking about him? Nobody. You know?
Right.
So I think, like I've said from the beginning, we have to look at the stock stuff a little bit different. We're trying to look at stock like 25 years ago. And we have this envisionment. This is what stock is. This is what stock is. Well, not anymore. It's changed, you know.
Coming from the guy that sells stock
tons of stock stuff. Yeah. Stock is driving most of the industry in electric.
Right.
How many tracks run 21.5? Is that sort of starting to be a how can I say? Is it starting to be a thing everywhere?
I don't know for sure. I couldn't give you a number. I know that on a national level, they dabbled with it with the J Concept series with Hobby Wing and Ron Scher.
As a non-sponsored class.
Yeah, show up. Here's your motor. Everybody's running the same gearing, same motor, everything. I think there's more tracks doing it. I just speak from experience at our local track. It probably brings 25 to 30 more people to the track every weekend.
Awesome.
And at times it's the biggest classes. You know, I would say more than half the time it's the biggest classes here.
That's awesome.
Because 17.5 is psycho. You know, you got, we got guys like me. I've raced for almost 30 years running 17.5. You don't want to race me if you just started. You know, there's got to be something in between. So I think that's the key.
Well, I think what you said about is we're thinking about it like 25 years ago. I think we just have to, I have to just accept, Max said it in the Discord. He goes, because you're looking at, don't look at this like as an open class or anything like that. It's just a class of racing. And then your analogy of Christian Craig is exactly right. I mean, if they're going to sit here and make money and you're going to make yourself relevant in this class, and this class is way bigger than mod, you know what I mean? The only thing that it doesn't have like the Cavalieris and all this, the upper echelons of our industry in there, but these guys are superstars in the stock world. Yeah. So I think if I look at it like that, because I'm watching, like I say, I'm watching Brennan Schimmel. You know, I watched him, he races everything. So, you know, he kind of focused on stock and 10 scale last year, and he's making a name for himself and he's staying relevant and he's doing well. So maybe this is just the class that he's gonna be at, and we just kind of probably have to, just like you said, look at it from your point of view, and just, I think if we do that, then we can accept this and enjoy it as spectators too.
I think
you know what I mean.
I think so, because it's its own thing. It's not going away.
Yeah, it's not.
No.
And I think if we can look, I think that's kind of where my brain is changing on it.
See,
you know, obviously.
And the Drayton Stoop thing is just like Christian Craig. Drayton was AE all the way, running mod, and then he just quit. And then he started running stock on his own privateer again, and he did well at a couple races. So now all of a sudden, Drayton Stube is relevant again. And now,
well, no, he went to Yokomo, and then he went to mod.
He quit for a little while though.
Totally right, he quit after Yokomo.
Yeah.
He quit after Yokomo, went back to AE like privateer.
Yep.
And then went back to stock, and then went back there, got relevant again, got his confidence, and then went back up to mod.
Yep.
And he's not dominating like he did stock.
No.
But
he's doing well though.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Dude, who would take a second at this race?
Yeah, exactly.
If Mayfield finished second, you'd be like, that's
of course.
You know what I mean?
So I think for myself, I'm not, obviously I call it pink pinions and all that stuff, but I'm kind of, my brain is now starting to turn indifferent because it's not going anywhere. This is the money maker in 10 scale, and it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter if these guys make money off this anymore. You know what I mean? They should, because like Brendan Schimmel is traveling to these races just like any other, like Cavallari or any of these other guys would travel to races. So he's just not in their class, and he's relevant in this class. And I think that's fine. Yeah. The difference for me is when they start dabbling in both, I think. And then if that's the case, then we kind of just have to put a line there and say, hey, if you're going to be stock spec mod, we should just call it spec mod. You know what I mean? Then that's what you run. You don't dabble into mod as well. And I think that would be fair.
I'll just challenge you to something. Top 5 mod 2-wheel drive buggy. Tom Rinderneck drives R1 motors. We know. Drayton Staub. Mm-hmm. What does he drive?
Phenom. I want to say, yeah, okay. Phantom.
Rivkin Hobbywing. Aiden Horn.
Reedy, probably.
Reedy, I would say. Reedy.
You're right. And Lee Setzer. Reedy too.
Reedy.
But
yeah,
average person won't know this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as if you go in stock, where is it? So, Tom Rinderneck, R1, Kyle Go,
mm-hmm.
Reedy, Brendan Schimmel, Trinity,
yeah,
Jeff
Stakowitz, Trinity,
Stakowitz.
Yeah,
Mr. Ryan Harris, Patreon, Colin Miles. I don't know who he is, but I mean, people will know
mm-hmm.
the motors
because the motor is what matters in stock.
Well, and if Tom's running R1 in mod, nobody cares.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he's getting at. That's what he's getting
70 to 80% of the customer base isn't running mod.
Yeah,
like
so
Trinity,
that's the issue.
Dakotah Phend motors, like. I hope they didn't make a whole bunch of those because I don't know. Like, I mean, they're going to sell.
Yeah,
they're going to sell 25 monsters to one of those. Promise you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody in stock is going to try to have the latest and greatest, a fresher motor
mm-hmm.
and whatnot.
Yep.
People don't change a bearing on mod motors.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
How's your motor? 2 or 3 years old, still running really good. Change
ripping.
the sensor wire.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know? So that's exactly why Tom from R1, that's his new name. So that's why Tom was in stock. That's exactly for this, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think right now, if he had to make a choice, that's where he would go.
Well,
you know,
the person paying his bill would probably highly suggest him to, hey buddy, why don't you run 17.5?
Yeah, because they got to make money. They got to sell motors. So I've changed my brain thinking on that. Joey Fisher, you would be happy. But yeah, good stuff. And I just have to shout out to Brendan because I watched him all year working hard, and I have to give him some credit and shout out to him. And I think that's about it. Anything else? Okay, so let's talk about this. We heard that this is probably the last race at this venue. I think Tyler Jones might have said something about it in his race report. I heard that the building might have got sold or whatnot like that. So it's quite a shame. Maybe not the same as an OCRC type of takeover or whatever, but I mean another iconic RC track gone, and yeah, it kind of sucks, but I get it. Like, you know what I mean? 35 years, probably got a deal on the building, if that's the case, where they said, hey man, as things dwindled on like this, you know what I mean? Not getting the entries that you need for this race and all that stuff. RC's hard, dude. Making money in RC is hard, and maybe they just said, hey man, we had enough of this after 35 years. And
that's a long time.
I think that's, yeah, I think you can say, yeah, that's a long time. They deserve a break now.
But
so
you were talking about why are we seeing less big 10 scale races and stuff like that? The staples of the industry are closing down. Like if
this is where carpet and Astro is going to come big into play in 10 scale.
100%. So it's,
yeah, it's so much easier. I mean, my buddy Tony Scarcella, he shows me what they have like in some, it looks like an old church hole, and they have it permanently, and they have an on road and an off, and it's like, yeah, we can do track changes, all this type of stuff. And I think we just have to, I've accepted it. It's fun. Let's have it. And it's great for new people to get in. And it's just, I think you're just going to see less and less dirt tracks. The only thing I would like to see is maybe an outdoor type of track, but
like hot rod hobbies.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, carpet is the future, man. Like, I mean, we can, with carpet, you can put a race in the mall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, like years and years ago when I looked at doing tracks and owning a track or building one or buying one, everybody's game until you tell the landlord, I'm going to fill this place with dirt. And they're
water it.
They're like, huh? Yeah, I'm going to fill it full of dirt. And they're going to be like, I've been there. I've stood and talk to these people. They're like, no, I don't think so. That's not going to happen in my building, so it's a tough sell. Another thing that you see is dirt tracks close, but none of them are opening.
Yeah,
I don't see dirt tracks opening. I see carpet tracks opening.
Hey, we have a really nice one in Montreal that just opened up.
You guys have one. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we'll still see these tracks. You know what I mean?
My local track's dirt. It's been dirt for
yeah.
Yeah,
they'll still hang on, but I mean, it's just like the whole industry is going towards carpet.
Yeah, but
you know
tomorrow
what I mean?
morning, us three, let's we drink 1 or 12 beers, and let's start a 10 scale track. I got this local. It's going to be amazing. So, how much is it to bring dirt? Is the dirt going to be good? What do you need to treat it? What? Oh, that's complicated. Let's take a look at carpet. Oh, it's $5,000. You can change the track. It's super cheap, and you'll sell a shit ton. Oh, can I say this? Tires.
Yeah, of course.
So you'll sell a shit ton of tires. Hey, buddy, that's so easy. So tomorrow morning, I need to pony up some money. It's much easier to put money on carpet than on dirt. Because it's less of a...
I agree with you there.
Yeah. So I'm involved in the planning of a new track right now. Here's the floor plan. It won't be dirt. It won't be dirt. The guy, the person that I'm dealing with owns the building, loves dirt, runs 8 scale. It won't be dirt. It'll be carpet.
Really?
Because that's just what makes sense.
And at the same time, he's wrenching half of the year on his 8 scale. Can 10 scale be pretty just simple? I'll just blow my car, put new tires on. That's it.
And what he's looking at is the new people. So they come into the hobby shop, look at the facility, buy a car. There's no games.
Yeah.
Put it on the track. Go have fun.
Low-C RTR roller car comes with the gear diff. $300. You got a brand new car. Smack some tires on. You're good to go.
Dude, you're racing. Yeah. It's done.
Yeah. I agree with you guys. And we're not even talking about not needing a permanent facility if you want to do it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have it in a church like how I do it in the UK.
Yep,
so
exactly.
Will you push the 21.5 class?
Who, me?
Tony.
I don't know. It depends on what they want in that region. It's not here. It's a little ways away from me. But I'm going to be more in charge. I'll be a general manager, but I'll be in charge of the hobby shop area more than the track. He's handling the track stuff. So, but whatever the locals want, if we build the track and within 3 months we have 15 novice drivers, we're going to run whatever they want to run. I mean, I'm not pushing any ideals on anything, so
good.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. I think that's enough about CRCRC. Great race. If it is going away, well, thank you for your 35 years, guys. And I think that's it about CRCRC. And congratulations to Tom. Congratulations to Dakotah Phend and all the winners and all the guys in stock that done well. So, good race. Was fun to watch. I enjoyed the mains. Tom Renner Connect gets the best pass of 2022 so far. Good job, dude. Tom from R1. I can't say your name properly, so just
R1 Tom.
Tom from R1. Tom, yeah.
Now you need to
right,
sell sponsorship to R1 now.
Oh yeah, that's Tom from R1. All right. Real quick, let's look at another. Well, it was a lot of big races going on. They had IBR Padova over in Italy. Shout out to Pretty Ricky Barton. He won. The Infinity car made it to the end. The prototype car, because wow, this is like the longest car ever to come out. But he won. I think there was not a lot of fast guys. There was no Ungaro boots, nothing. Like everybody went out testing this weekend. But the Klinik brothers were there. Polito was there. Renault Savoia, Yao Figueiredo. But Polito was the fastest Kyosho guy, young Italian racer, and Berkan Klinik. Yeah, who? Yeah. But y'all beat him. In Nitro. Yeah, and Polito too, who's Italian. He beat him. Berkan came second. Shout out to Berkan.
Where was David?
David who? Ronald? No, he's the Viking is saving all his energy for DNC.
Saving it for a big race.
Does he have enough parts to race until DNC?
The plan for the Viking is to come over to America and spend a few weeks there and get ready to dominate. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. But the other, speaking of DNC,
since we're on the topic of being off topic and breaking our schedule, I think the world is waiting to see David succeed, but there's a lot of people waiting for this shit to implode too.
Yeah, of course there is. Anything with Joseph, people, Joseph is like the hardest person in the world to work with. But I've seen these two on just a I always thought they were kind of like offsetters, but like they actually have a mutual respect for him. And I think David just kind of gets it. You know what I mean? He's not sitting on his ass and just saying, pay me. He's out there hustling, you know what I mean? And getting things done. So, he's excited. When I talk to him, I tell you, man, I understand why Ronald Fox a pro, because nothing shakes his confidence at all. And he's just like, yep, I'm getting ready for DNC. That's all that matters. That's all he's focused on right now, DNC.
Nice.
So it's going to be good. But speaking of DNC, we had the warm-up this weekend. I have to say, Joey makes the best step-ups in RC, period, man. I love step-ups, and not everybody can do them right, but I love the way Joey does them. Man, I really like what he's done with Paris in the dirt, and I can't wait to see what he does for DNC, because he doesn't have to build driver stands and do all this type of stuff. He gets to focus on just building a badass track. But we had a DNC warm-up this past weekend. No rain. Wasn't a big turnout because we do have SIC coming up this weekend as this podcast comes out, so I wasn't expecting many people there. But in Nitro Buggy, Ogden made the trip, and he TQ'd the first two rounds. Jared Wiggins would end up second. He made the trip. Ryan, the Cavallari, would qualify third. Pavitas fourth in his new HB ride. Adam Drake was there. Tessman, the great Canadian hope, made the trip from Alberta to come down. And we need to get your Canadian flag.
I was trying to find like a moose hat, but I forgot it.
There you go.
DNC, baby.
So I very light turnout, but then we had Frankie Contreras Jr., who we're going to talk about in a minute, Camden Line, and Dylan Nelson, excuse me. So
I'm surprised Drake out qualified Ty.
Well, he didn't. Well, Ty got the final revenge at the end of the day.
Oh, Canada.
Yes. So, man, I think Tasman is on a mission. He is like, I am going to race from people's memory that bad performance that I had last year at DNC. That's what I think Ty's on. He's like,
a lot of people briefly spoke about it, but I do believe that last year he was still on engines or two new. He just switched to FX, and from what I heard, FX engines, they take about 2 to 3 gallons to break in after the oil bath, after everything. So maybe that was part of it. I don't know, but he's making his homework. He's doing his homework. He's making sure his T's are crossed, his I's are dotted.
mm-hmm.
Man, I'm hoping Ty rocks.
Yeah. Ty is he was one of the only other guys to win a 8-scale race last year, and I think we're gonna see the Ty Tasman of old like coming back. So I'm sure he's pretty much doing this, then going SIC. He'll probably do national warm up. I think we're probably gonna see Ty in America for some time here, right up to DNC. I would say. Might go back home to Canada,
think he
but I
wants to
doubt
come
it.
back home. No.
Yeah,
they made that choice.
Yeah, I think that. Well, they kind of have to. You know what I mean? They kind of just have to. Stay
every time you come back, you're stuck
months.
2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, last year they kind of got hosed. I think they came down for one race, went back, and then they couldn't leave again or something.
Yeah. I think it was Silver State. Yeah, they couldn't come back for Silver State. Yeah. So I think I have no doubt Ty is like, I'm coming here to just make up for 2021. Cole Ogden, 1 lap done. You know, Cole.
Yeah, but technically he was only 9 seconds off, 8-9 seconds off.
Yeah, well, you know what, man? Cole's got to be winning these races, man. This is these little things that he's got to win. You know what I mean? This is confidence building. And I mean, let's be honest, this is mostly about going out there and testing at the end of the day. But, you know, now Cole is in that position as the #1 HB driver in the world. So it's a little, you know, a little bit more pressure on him now.
But Cole had fast lap over Testman by half a second too. That's
fast lap don't win races.
Yeah, but they still try and get the raw speed. They still try and get the numbers.
Oh, Turner's got cough. Turner's getting disconnected.
No, it didn't work.
I pushed the button. Okay.
You know what? We're gonna upgrade Turney. We're gonna get Turney upgraded mic. All right, just real quick. Ryan Cavallari in 3rd, Jerry Wiggins 4th, Camden Lime 5th, Adam Drake 6th, Frankie Contreras 7th, Dylan Nelson, Ryan Pavitas looks like he had some issues or something. Well, let's talk about Frankie Contreras. So I think Frankie won DNC last year.
Yep.
In intermediate, man, this 14-year, I was talking to his dad before I came in here. He took over. He started in 3rd. First lap he was 3rd, got up to 2nd. By the 6th lap, he got into 1st. And dude, he held on to 1st for 22 laps almost. No, not 22, but just under 22.
Really?
And well, let's see. He held on from lap 6. Sorry, his dad said 22, but it's not. He held on from lap 6 to
23.
Lap 22.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, and then he had a flame out, like he jumped out into some fluff and something turned off his flywheel. But, I mean, for this kid to be leading these guys for that many races, that's very impressive. And I think this is probably one of those dark horses that we might see squeak in and do have a good performance at DNC, because this is like his home track. He's on the TLR car. He's on Proline Rub, I believe. And this would make for a great story if this happens. So I just wanted to shout out to him and give him some credit for this. But what do you guys think about this B-Man? And what do you think about this? I'm going to start with Tony. And what do you think about the top 3 from this race, Tony? Ty, Cole, and Cav.
Well, I think that's pretty much a prediction from the start. So what I look at is I was surprised that Ty was down in qualifying early. That really surprised me. Like, what's going on? But as the track wore in and it blew out a little bit, go back to that. What was the race in Texas that Tim Line put on?
US
really
Open.
blew out, dude, Ty just schooled everyone. So I think if they like have some sort of mix between that setup and what they were running here, like Ty's good on blown out stuff. You know, that Southern race was like, holy cow, it was blown up to bits. So I don't know, maybe they're messing around during qualifying it. It's just testing. It's not a, you know, it's not like a world title's on the line. So they probably figured it out and got it done for the main. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the track's gonna really blow up for DNC. I don't think there's any way to avoid it.
Yeah, we shall see, though. I mean,
Sorry,
go
heard
ahead,
through
Kevin.
the grapevine that Joey's trying to see if he can do a mix to keep it together, but the synthetic feel of the dirt was not something he was looking for. But he reached out to people here about different types of oils and stuff like that, but he didn't take that directions finally. But he's trying to figure out a way for his tracks not to get looking like a landmine field.
Yeah, I think it's just that dirt there, really. I mean, there wasn't a ton of entries, and this was a fresh layout, and it got pretty beat up. So,
well, I think also dirt is different, you know. And then once you start running, the more cars running on this type of stuff, and it becomes a permanent track, you know, rubber from tires, oil from Nitro, and all that stuff gets involved into this dirt somehow, and maybe we'll see. It's going to be a lot of laps at DNC too, so it's going to be interesting. I mean, the one good thing about DNC is they can also fix the track in between, you know, in between races and stuff like that. But man, it's just, I'm super excited for this race. I really am.
It'll be good.
I think we're going to see. Hopefully, we see a good contingent of the Europeans coming over, and it's good to see. I wish we would have seen more guys at this race from America testing and getting ready, but I guess we'll see them. You know, the good thing about this being at a permanent track is that people can go practice.
They go there all the
and
time.
all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's going to be good to see, man. It's going to have a different aura. It's like even Thunder Alley last year was good because it was kind of like, you know, people had practice and it made for some good racing and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to this. And I mean, if you tell me, I'll be honest with you, I don't see why any of these top three guys that finish this couldn't win this next year. I mean, in next month, but man, there's going to be some stiff competition at this race, man. This is pretty much worlds if you really look at it.
I know one thing: the B main's going to be loaded, and probably the C main.
Yep. yeah.
There's no doubt.
There's going to be a couple of guys in the C main not very happy to be there.
Yeah. Pissed.
It's the thing is too. There's in the absence of 2 years with the Europeans not coming there, there's lots of American guys that have gotten faster. You know what I mean? So you got the Jackson Brunsons, the Lee Setzers, the Aiden Horns. Like, where was Aiden Horn 2 years ago when these guys were there? He was still racing 10 scales. So there's some new faces on her that we're gonna see, and it's gonna be a test for them. But this is a hard race, man. It's whew. I can't wait to go. I don't know. Can't wait. All right, guys. Well, we've been going on for longer than what we're supposed to. We always do that. So I want to thank you guys for coming on. Turner's fading. Kevin's fading. I'm fading. It's getting late. I think that's it for us today, guys. We're going to go on to the Dakotah Phend interview. And I thank you guys for your time. And you'll be seeing more of you guys over this year. And, check us out. Give Kevin some subs and some likes. Check out his stuff. Check out Tony, Klinik RC. He's got a lot of cool stuff there. And, I hope you guys enjoy this new little, more focus on 10 scale and trying to get some more information. I'm learning too. And maybe we change the outlook of stock versus mod. No, you know what I mean? That's our mission, I think,
Change your thinking just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to try and make that, I'm coming around.
And I think a lot of
now
people have to change a little bit too and just kind of look at it in a different view,
Yeah. I think that's our mission this year. Change the way of thinking. It's going to be Spec Mod, though. Spec Mod. We're going to change the name. All right.
Nitro's a glory, but stock racing pays the bills.
Spec Mod pays the bills.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right, guys. You know what? I'll talk to you later. We're going to go on to the Dakotah Phend interview, and I'll see you guys next week or in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. See you.
Cool.
Cheers.
Techno RC. Techno RC. Techno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.technorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Techno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Techno Takeover.
Joining me this week on the NNRC, on the first interview of 2022, I would like to say, is a gentleman in our industry that needs no introduction. If you don't know who the person is sitting to my virtual right is, then maybe you should go back and listen to some more of these podcasts, but because we talk about them quite a lot. But I'd like to welcome, I have to go through your accolades, sir. 19-time national champion. I did not know that. You've podiumed a few worlds. You've come close to winning some worlds. You're a one-time Reedy Race champion, which is a feat in its own. And I have to add, people, he's done this all before the age. He's only 24. So I would like to welcome the Phenom, Dakotah Phend, who I consider one of the best all-around radio control drivers in the world at the moment, and probably going to be one of the all-around best by the time he finishes up in another 15 years from now. But welcome, Dakotah. Thank you for your time. Happy 2002 to you. Yeah. We've talked at races before, and I've always said, I got to get you on. And you know, I kind of wanted you to be the first guest of our show this year. So thank you. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy man. So how are you? How was your Christmas? How was your holidays?
Yeah, it was great. We did a move here, so we are moving. We live in Indiana now. Did that right before the Christmas time, so kind of took a couple weeks off in December. Wasn't able to make it out to a couple of the races, so definitely sad about that. But happy to kind of get settled a little bit and had a good holidays and Christmas with the family and stuff. And now we're ready to go racing. I'm excited for 2022. I'm excited to be on here. And we're kicking the year off with this podcast. And then we're going right into Columbus tomorrow. And it'll be a busy first few months, like always.
Oh, you guys have a very busy first quarter. Very busy.
Yep.
CRCRC, as we're recording this, you would have, just for people to explain, we recorded this before he went. So he's going to be attending CRCRC Race. And we'll know if you won or not after this podcast. But I think you did pretty well there. I think you did pretty well there last year. Did you go last year?
Yeah, this is one of my probably best tracks, best facilities as far as like success and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's always nice to start off the new year really well. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that now. Usually when I go to this race, so hoping for the same thing this year. Have a really good program around me, and I don't know. I think it's just the dirt. I just feel really comfortable there. I think it's nice. It's a little bit closer to home. It's like 3-4 hours away. So I think that helps a little bit, and always have a lot of local support. But it's always ends up well. We ran there back in the day. We were running full treads. And then we went to, running ghost pins, and now we start out on full slicks. Last year, now I didn't even bring treaded tires. We did like 30 minutes and went out there on slicks, and it was fine. So really good dirt, has a lot of grip, and always some really intense battles.
Yeah, and very old race, 35 years. Mm-hmm. This used to be, they would have they still do. They have the 10 scale this weekend, and then they had the 8 scale, and the 8 scale used to be like the first. I would say that was the DNC warm up, even though it's nothing like DNC. But it used to be the race, it was the first real big American race of the year. Yep. But now I think SIC is going to be the following weekend. And I assume you'll be there as well.
I'm not gonna. I'm actually not going to that race.
Okay.
Yeah. I should be at all the other race time entertainment races, but I'm actually gonna head out to California that week. Do some running there, just kind of start the preparation early for nationals. With the Nitro Nats being in March, it's coming up super quick. So want to get out there, do some running with the team, and then I'll be out there probably at least 2 or 3 more times before nationals.
Yeah, because you have the Nats warm
Arizona
up this month too, as well. And let's not forget the big race that's coming up in February, which is DNC. We're forgetting about that. But thank you for coming on, man. I just want, I always ask people this. You seem like, even before this, I didn't realize you was only 24 years old. You've been in this industry for such a long time that you're a veteran at 24 years old. I don't even know how you got started in all of this. So just for our listeners out there and for myself, how did this crazy road of RC racing start for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think like most people, it just started off for fun. I was 5 years old and my dad had a T-Max, so took like 6 months to get that thing finally running. And there happened to be a hobby shop like half a mile from our house, and they had a indoor like stadium, the great carpet track, and ended up getting a Blitzer Beetle and did some running there for a while. And then kind of just took off from there. I was one of the last years that did half days for kindergarten. So I had, from 11 or noon on for the rest of the day when I was 5. So I would go pretty much almost every day. That's what I wanted to do. Wanted to go there and have fun. I grew up in a car family, so it was something that I could go and do easily, and kind of be a part of that world. So
what was your dad and
started traveling super young at 7. Started going to nationals and stuff, and kind of just something that we did as a family. It was a family event, and we kind of just made that decision that's what we wanted to do.
How old were you when you made that decision?
I think you're still on mute.
Oh, I'm muting myself so you don't get no background noise. And I'm asking. I should be a professional at this. Sorry about that. Thank you for reminding me. How? I just wanted to ask real quick. You said your family was into cars, so are we talking full scale?
Yeah, we used to go to car shows and like some auctions and stuff like that back when I was younger. And then kind of once RC kind of took over, we didn't really have time for that anymore. And now that I'm a little bit older and doing this on my own, my parents kind of got back into it and stuff. So it's cool to see. It's kind of been my whole life. We've been into cars or around cars and stuff. So it's cool to see them get back into it.
Yeah, I was listening to the Voice RC podcast last year, and you have a pretty cool car as well, right?
Yeah, I've had a few Evos over the years, a Mitsubishi Evo. I got into that just because of all the snow and stuff that we get up in the Midwest, and really helps in the snow as all-wheel drive, and really good. So a little bit different than the Subaru. Probably not quite as popular as that, but same kind of concept, the rally car style. And yeah, I've had a few over the years, and definitely a lot of fun. Yeah,
they are badass. You know who had a really badass Subaru WRC? Do you remember Lance Nork?
Yeah.
Oh man, he had one, and he took me out for a drive in it once, and I love it. Great cars, great cars.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right. So you said your family decided to follow the RC path, which you've been on. At what age did that happen?
I mean, we were still doing it for fun, but at 7, I went to my first nationals. So I think in the RC world, pretty young for nationals. Mm-hmm. And ever since I was 7, we were, traveling all over the country. And as years went on, it got bigger and bigger, more races and more races. But we started traveling when I was 7, and kind of really never quit. It was at school. My parents were very dedicated themselves, mm-hmm. and dedicated for me to do my best. But it was always my choice. I made the decision like, hey, I want to get into this more serious, and they've had my back, the whole way 100%. So very, very fortunate for that.
So you've been to a nationals every year since you were 7 years old?
Yeah.
Wow. Fun fact, being as you're 24, I was 24 years old. I guess you was born in 1997?
Yep.
Fun fact, that was actually the year that Kinwald won his second world championship and his first ever world championship for Team Losi. Brian Dunbar was second. And then in 4-wheel drive, it was Masami, Yuka Stenari, and Timo Lino, who I assume Yuka and Timo were running TLR, Team Losi cars maybe at that time. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe Yuka was. I think that was right around the XX4 days.
That's so crazy.
Like 97, 98, yeah.
You was born that same year. That Losi won their first nationals. I looked that up because I was like, well, we don't have many guys your age on this. Well, we do, but not at your level. So it's pretty amazing. So at this time at 7, was you running TLR cars or what was you running?
Yeah, so it's actually my first race driving Losi cars was that nationals. It was the BK2 and the MF2. Mm-hmm. Up until that point, I had been running like the T3 and the B3. So around that era, started off with the ready to run, and then got the kits, and then like a month before nationals, made the switch to Losi, and have been running the cars ever since.
So was that was you sponsored by TLR at that point, or was it just like I want to try these cars because I like them?
Just kind of in the area and stuff. There was going to be some more support with the Losi stuff, so I made that switch, and then I'm pretty sure at the end of that year, right before I turned 8, I ended up getting a sponsorship with Losi.
Sweet. So what type of things was your parents doing? I know this is a sacrifice for the parents as well to do this, because this costs a lot of money and you have to travel, and as you know, RC consumes your life at that age. So what type of things were your parents instilling in you? What were some of the rules and regulations you had to abide by as a young man coming up? And I guess was it like a normal school life for you coming up, or was you homeschooled or anything like that?
Yeah, the homeschool life was honestly pretty. I mean, I went to public schools, so that was pretty normal. I was gone a lot. I'd miss 40 to 50 days of school a year, and my mom worked really hard with the school district to make that a possibility, so that I didn't have to be homeschooled. With me going to races and stuff, and kind of always being around adults for the most part, they thought that it was very important to go to school, get the interaction with kids your age, and learn how to interact with them, and still have that ability, and still be able to be a kid a little bit. So I missed a lot of school. It was for sure a lot of work. Spent a lot of time. I'd go in before class starts, an hour early, start making up stuff. I'd stay after school every day, make up stuff. And just, when I was at the races or on the plane, just doing whatever work I could, and having to teach myself a lot. And obviously my parents helped a lot with the schooling as well. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a lot of work. It was really hard, but it was worth it. I'm really glad that, they made that decision and we took that route. And it was really just like putting in the hard work, being respectful. And it taught me at a young age how to learn how to win, how to lose gracefully, and just how to be mature about it, and have the right mindset. And I mean, they were, like I said, they supported me since day one, and very thankful.
So you was in high school and all that there. Did you do any homeschooling at all, or was it?
No.
Okay, so I think that's great.
Public
actually,
school.
Though. I think that's good, because I see a lot of people taking their kids out of school to chase this, and I think. Yep. Exactly what you said. You're going to be surrounded by a bunch of men like me as a young kid, and unfortunately, there isn't that many young kids in RC right now. I wish there were more, but that's a topic for a different day. So I think the school thing is a very, whenever I talk to younger generations like yourself, because I think it's very important for social interaction and just becoming a part of life. And I'm not a big. You got to be a kid too, you know what I mean? You got to have some kid thing, do some kid things, and have that and do all. How are your grades doing all that? Because that's exceptional too. I mean, just to put the extra work in, going in an extra hour early, staying later, that's all the stuff we don't hear about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my grades were actually really good. So I graduated with over a 4.0.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of time, but like I said, my parents kind of they didn't really give me a choice. Like if you want to race, then you have to put the work in with school, make sure that you keep up with it. And, they helped me to be able to do that. It helped too. I mean, at that age, I really wasn't doing a lot with the cars. So my mom was kind of in charge of all the organizing, the ordering of the parts, making sure they're all organized, the travel, all that stuff. And then my dad did pretty much all the wrenching on the cars, tires and stuff. You know, he'd stay up late every night after work, getting the cars ready, prepping the tires and stuff, you know, and at that age, you know, a little bit hard to understand how much work that they were putting in behind the scenes, but they did that for a very, very long time. And then, you know, once I got into my early teens, kind of started working on the cars a little bit, figuring that side of the things. And then eventually took over my 10 scale program, doing all the work and the prep on that stuff. And then slowly kind of learning the 8 scale stuff as well.
Okay. Now, did you go on to university after this, or? Yeah,
I did do college for a little bit. I ended up going to Oakland University and went for like a year and a half. And I think that I just wasn't ready. I had put so much time and effort into high school and the public school system and stuff. I was pretty burnt out on it. And, you know, then kind of having your own freedom and your choices to do that, I didn't work as hard as I should have at it. But I kind of got to the point where I was going for mechanical engineering. I got to the point where I was starting to do labs and stuff. And at the time that I had kind of committed to them, they had said, hey, you know, we're willing to work with you and stuff. And once I got to the lab points, it was kind of like, hey, like if you miss it, then you're out of luck pretty much. So that was unfortunate. I wasn't able to finish that and get all that knowledge and stuff that, you know, I could have applied to racing as well. But yeah, it just wasn't the right timing.
You can revisit that though. You're still young.
Yep.
You can revisit it. And I think you made a big choice. Well, let's talk about that, becoming a pro. So I guess at what age did you, so I just want to share an example. I kind of look at you similar to kind of how McLaren kind of was involved with Hamilton from a young age. Mm-hmm. You know, Carl Hamilton had this story that he was gonna sign for McLaren. He told him, and like TLR, they must have saw something obviously they saw something really special in you, and they kind of groomed you from a young racer, because it's very rare that we see racers, especially like I can only think of one other, and that's Neil Craig, who's been with Associated forever, and you've been with TLR pretty much your whole career. So I guess, when did the process go from, okay, you're a teenager who's in school, out of school, okay, now you're going to be doing this for a living and you're going to be collecting a paycheck? How did that transition work?
It was pretty smooth at first, just because I was pretty young when it started. So, you know, I was still in high school, you know, still living at home with my parents, and still kind of like, I was still doing more just the driving part, and just starting to slowly learn the car side of things. So I didn't really have a lot of pressure on my shoulders. I just went out there and drove, and you know, whatever happened. I did my best. Mm-hmm. And so that was really nice for me. I didn't have all that pressure. You know, I wasn't 17, 18 years old having to try to make that decision like, hey, what am I going to do with my life? It kind of just slowly kind of fit into where when I graduated high school, you know, I already had a full-time job pretty much. So that was really nice. You know, it's definitely very, very tough to do. I was fortunate to have that ability and not have that stress on me. And yeah, it kind of just turned into something. I hadn't really fully made that decision, because I was still going to college and stuff for, you know, that year and a half. So kind of had both those options there. And as far as staying with Losi for so long, I credit that to my parents for just, you know, instilling loyalty and you know, what goes around comes around. So, you know, I have their back, they have my back. And then Todd Hodge as well. So he was a team manager for, I want to say, like a year or so back when I was younger. Kind of got that relationship with them as he worked his way up in Horizon, and you know, have a pretty close relationship with him. And you know, I've had my off years, and you know, they have as well. So we have each other's backs, and you know, I think that it pays off in the end.
Yeah, because you was at one point, it was just you at Losi, you know what I mean, for many years, and they were really struggling. I think it was after that point when Drake left, and then Mayfield was still there, and he left, and then it was just you, and you had the 8X coming out, and we was wondering if TLR was gonna die or whatever. And then I can say I've seen the rejuvenation of TLR as a race team, especially this year when I went to the Nationals, and I saw, you know, how you guys had everything set up, the amount of drivers you had. Obviously, now you guys lost some guys this year, like the Fullers and stuff, but you still have you still have Cav. I think you guys have a solid team going forward. I think Tran has also been very influential in that because, a team manager is, people always talk about drivers, but the team manager is very important. It can make or break your team. So I think that TLR has done a great job rejuvenating their race team. And it's good because it also paid off for you this year, obviously. Last year in 2021. But I guess I also wanted to know, what was your first real big national win? You won the stock nets, I assume, right?
Yeah, I won quite a few stock nationals when I was younger. The juniors, and then I won some stock back when it was brush as well. And then I was around when we transitioned to the lipo stuff. And I was still kind of in the stock age. So I went from brush stock to super stock brushless motors, which was 10.5. I believe it was 10.5 at the time. So those ended up being super, super fast. And it was kind of like a good intro for me into mod. And then ran my first modified nationals, I believe it was 2009 or 2010 at Hobbyplex in Omaha. And then my first major nationals was the tool drive buggy nationals in 2013.
Okay.
That was a little bit of a surprise. I was up towards the front and a lot of things happened the right way, and I was able to walk away with the win in that, and then was able to back it up the year after that as well in 2014.
And let's not forget you won last year as well. So in 2021, I have a question about that, but I'll ask about mod and 10 scale later.
Okay.
In your early career, like chasing these mod nationals and all this type of stuff, what was some of the biggest hurdles you had to get over?
Probably the biggest hurdle was just kind of learning my own program. Once you get to that point, you kind of have to know what you're doing with the car side of things. Once you get to that level, you can't just rely on somebody to do it for you. As far as you see my dog there in the background hanging out.
Oh yeah, that's cool. What type of dog is it?
He's a mix. He looks like he's a pit lab mix. We went and got the DNA test done for fun. And he's a Staffordshire Terrier, and then he has some miniature Schnauzer in him.
I can see the Staffy in him.
Miniature Schnauzer, and then he has a little bit of a Boxer and Bulldog.
Oh, he's a bit bit of everything.
A little bit of a mutt, but
great dogs.
He's good. Yep. Man, I forgot where we were at.
The hurdles that you had to get over.
Yeah. So it was really tough for me to figure out how to work on the cars and figure out the setup side of things. I was still going to school at the time. I was still in my early teens when I was doing my nationals and starting to get paychecks and stuff. And I really didn't know what I was doing. Just didn't have any experience. My parents had taken everything and done it pretty much themselves just because I was so busy with school and stuff, and it was a big help. And I was still able to be a kid a little bit, but once it got to that point, I really didn't know what I was doing, and it took a long time to figure it out. A lot of mistakes were made, a lot of mechanical failures, a lot of setup changes that were wrong, and something that really helped me was I was able to do co-op in high school. And I was able to pretty much what it is, you go in and you work your job, and that'll count as an elective.
Really?
And I was able to do that for I think 2 or 3 years of high school. And by the end, my senior year of high school, I was doing it as 3 credits. So I was pretty much leaving at lunchtime at like 10:30 or 11. And Todd kind of hooked me up with we kind of had like a program we do. So he'd set out a schedule for me, and each week I'd concentrate on something different. So, 1 week I'd go out and learn everything in the front camber links. So one day I'd test different positions, try all the different positions out, take notes on it. And then the next day I'd try adjusting the height, with washers and stuff, raising and lowering the inside and the outside in the front, trying all that. And then I would go to the rear and do that and just kind of take notes and everything and learn about it. And that's what I did for, part of my credits for school. And it also really helped me in my, my career as well.
I would assume so. That's so cool. I see. Excuse me. I think RC should be in the schools anyway, but I think like RC clubs and all that stuff would be great. Teach people mechanical skills. That's really cool how you figured that out. And what did your friends and your schoolmates think of you? Think like of what you done? Did they understand it?
I think probably not fully. Definitely some of them were, would go and watch and stuff. But yeah, I think it was definitely a little weird. I was kind of that kid that was always, just bouncing in and out of school. I'd be there for a week and then gone for a week, back for a few days, and then gone again for a few days. And yeah, so I think it was a little bit of a different experience for me. I wasn't able to do any of the sports.
Yeah, I was about to ask, no extracurricular activities.
Yeah. So no sports after school, no programs or, other activities, no groups or anything like that. So I was definitely a little limited. I didn't have a lot of time to hang out with friends and stuff after school, or, even on the weekends. I was always gone at a race. So it was definitely a little bit different, but it was good to be able to at least go to school and have the interaction and just be around kids my age.
You need that after being, I get that. Who were some of your biggest rivals as a young kid coming up? Who were some of the faster young drivers that maybe they're not hurt with us racing now, but were some of the guys you found, that you knew when they came to race, you was going to have to be on your A game?
Yeah, it was tough back then. There really wasn't, there was no kids back then that really were my age. Not very many locally, not very many at, at the national level or just the big race level in general. There's a couple here and there, but I was really the only kid that was doing this program in this race schedule. And it was tough. I think that's kind of why I grew up so quick and why I kind of have that older maturity level. And I got that at a young age just because I was around adults so much. And even stock nationals and stuff was mostly adults at the time.
Yeah, it was a bit different too. Mod was bigger back then, I want to say, and it was. I'm not saying that it's not as significant now, but it was definitely 10 scale was a lot bit different back then.
Yeah.
And, than it is now. So I guess, who was some of the guys you looked up to that you got to race against?
Yeah, we had a really, really good group of guys in the Midwest, specifically like the Michigan area. And there was a couple series that they always did that, we're pulling in hundreds and hundreds of entries, every single event of these series. So I grew up racing, Boatman, Jason Jakubczyk, Kai Goff was another good one. Johnny Legaitis. There's a lot of guys, Bobby Flack, who's super well known in the on-road industry. Jeff Abler. There's a huge group of guys that were always racing. Al Horn as well. Sontag used to be a little bit fast back then before he got old.
That's a professional pit guy.
Yeah. And so there was just this huge group of guys that we go to, we just club racing, and it was really good for me to be able to learn. I mean, there was 10 guys that could go and win this club race. There's 10 guys that could, every weekend that could win these 10 scale races. So it was really good competition, and it taught me at a young age, how to race these guys, how to have, how to race them clean, how to be competitive, and just kind of figuring that all out. I mean, it's really tough when you're coming up in the industry to learn how to race the guys, especially once you get to the pro level. There's definitely that transition phase that's pretty rough, but I think having all these locals that were really fast and competitive really helped me. When I started out, they were better than me, and I was able to kind of like slowly catch up, racing them every weekend and going to all these different tracks with the series and traveling to other states. And it just really just made a big difference where I was very comfortable racing and didn't really think about it too much. I didn't get nervous at that age. I just went up there and just drove and was doing it every weekend, and just had a really good group of guys to be able to race with and learn from.
Did you get into hazing? Because I was talking to Tebow, but see, Tebow came up in a different era. He came up in that attitude era with Greg and Quartz, and those guys just roughed him and Mayfield and the guys right up. So I don't think he was in that era. But maybe besides your dad, and Todd Hodge, was there somebody maybe that you in the industry at the time that you wanted to emulate or that you looked up to?
Yeah, I mean, I always looked up to Mayfield when I was younger. Just that drive and the passion that he has for the industry that he still has now. I always thought that was really, really cool. And when I was coming up, he was in his late teens, 18 to 22 range. So it's kind of crazy. We're more than 10 years later now here, and we're racing together pretty much every weekend whenever I had a race. So
you guys definitely gave us some entertainment this last year. So I see a lot of your style and Ryan Mayfield driving wise. Like he used to have that balls to the wall. He still is, but how like Mayfield at some point was known for not finishing races too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
especially 8 scale.
Races,
it's tough, man. It's really tough, and back in the day it was even tougher. Mm-hmm. Cars were more fragile. The engines were really hard to keep running, and it was really more of a survival than it was racing. Now we're going all out the whole time. You get a couple laps to breathe if you guys are on different pit stop strategies, and that's about it. But the cars, the engines, for the most part, you got to keep an eye on the heat, but you can go pretty much, full commitment, full bore the whole time. And the cars can take it now.
And the guys, everybody's so fast. The pace is so fast now.
Yeah. I feel like we've reached that level in the industry where you can't. I was fortunate enough to be a part of it and to actually see it grow and reach that new level. But we're at the level now where it's 100%. You can't you can't rely on yourself to just go out there and drive and maybe not prepare the car or pick the wrong tires or the engine tune be off or whatever it may be. Everything has got to be on point, 100% ready to go. And if it's not, then you're not even probably in the top 5 a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think Tebow said it best on her last couple of months ago. He says I'm driving the best I've ever driven. He says, but everybody's just so fast, and he goes, you make one little bobble, one little mistake, and that's it. So definitely the paces. I can't wait for DNC when the Europeans come. Hopefully they come over. Hopefully nothing screws it up and they can come over.
Yep.
Because I think that's when you guys step it up to an even higher level. And that's when you and the Mayfields they go in and reach for that extra 10th or that extra little bit of speed they have carrying back there. So that's good. Before we get into Nitro, because I know you have a love-hate relationship with Nitro. Let's talk about your 2019 Worlds. Exciting Worlds. You had some epic battles. You were so close. If you could go back to that Worlds, what would you do different?
Yeah, it's tough. We had such limited time with the new car, and we knew, hey, if we want to be competitive, then this is what we need to run. It's kind of that newer era style, and we were definitely a little bit behind with the 22 the belt car. And so it was a rush. There were some delays and stuff, and I ended up flying out to California literally like the week before Worlds, and we got the car built up. Frank got it built up. We didn't even know if the parts were going to fit together. Mm-hmm. Obviously there were some fitment issues, so Frank was putting in the work, making sure we were able to race it and kind of get everything good to go. But fortunately, all the major components fit. We were able to get everything free. The drivetrain was good. And I ran at SDRC for 2 or 3 days before Worlds. Flew home, was home for like a day or two, and went to Worlds and kind of just showed up. And we have the car. We have the car. We have the car. We know that the car is good on the clay style surface, and we assumed that it would be good there as well. But the track was obviously a super, super unique surface. We were on M3 hole shops with open cell foams. We're running on if it was like a chalk surface with concrete jump faces, so you could actually get over the jumps. It reminded me of Mario Kart. You're kind of like squidding out, and then you hit the concrete like a speed boost. It just takes off and straightens out and just launches. So, it was super tough. We didn't go to the warm-up race, so we had no experience with the track either. We kind of struggled on the tool drive side of things just because we didn't go to the warm-up race. And there's a lot of people. Pretty much you built a car for that event.
Yeah.
And so we didn't do that. So we were behind on that. Broke out the broke out the 4-wheel and kind of just had like a neutral setup on there, and car was pretty good. Made some setup changes, and I mean, considering I felt really comfortable with the car for having 2 or 3 days on it, it's nice. It's not always nice, but at this event it was nice that they always spread everything out and make it such a long event, because we'd run twice in a whole day, so we had a lot of time to kind of do a research, think about setup changes, and with the time change and stuff, Frank was up at all hours of the morning trying to make sure that we had all the information and talk about setups. And he was actually running at home the whole week of Worlds while we were out at Worlds trying to figure stuff out. So we'd be like, hey, the car's doing this, and he'd go to the track and make changes and try to figure out how to fix that problem. So it was a massive team effort. Everyone was putting in the time. We had a couple issues with the spur gears and stuff at the time. They weren't really lasting. They just breaking a couple of the teeth off. It's really hard with spur gears. Even nowadays with everyone, it's hard to get them perfectly round. And with the first samples and stuff, they were a little bit off. So I actually didn't finish the first 2 qualifiers. So I counted the 3rd, 4th, and 5th qualifier. That was it. If I didn't finish one, then I wasn't even gonna be in the main.
Crazy.
So I knew the car was good. We had good speed up until we were having problems in the first 2 qualifiers. I think I ended up being top seed or second or something like that going into the quals. So we knew the car was good, and still learning the comfort with it and stuff, but was able to make it happen the last 3 qualifiers. And I TQ'd the 3rd and 4th one, and then going into the 5th one, it was kind of the pressure was on. It's like, obviously you want to go for the TQ. I wanted to TQ my first Worlds, but I knew I had to count the round, and Bruno was, going all out. We were pretty similar speeds, and he was going for it, and I didn't have that option, so was able to start second overall in the grid, which, like I said, considering where we were after the first 2 qualifiers, I was super happy with that. And I had some great racing with Bruno. Sent in on him a couple times, and I mean, it definitely for sure sucks to have that mistake. I think I just kind of barely clipped the top of the jump, but it is what it is. It was a huge pleasure to be able to be up there. That was my first time really like being in the hunt for a world championship. And just like being up there. So it was really cool. It's definitely a different atmosphere, like yourself internally, and then also externally with all the fans and stuff. It was really cool to be a part of that. And like I said, it definitely sucks to not have won, but at the same time, like I have to look at where we were a week before and
I didn't know all that.
Be proud of that. Yeah.
I mean, the racing, if you go back and look at those mains, I like the best way I explained it. You guys were on the edge, like 1 millimeter off, and they would have been like donuts and nowhere's land. And I couldn't believe that you and Coelho were both keeping that pace for 5 minutes. It was just if you could literally see you guys were just on the precipice of like it was either you're gonna stick it there and you're gonna be there, or you're gonna lose. So I thought it was great racing. You're 24 years old, dude. You have plenty of time to make. I mean, I know we say that, but but you won multiple worlds. So I have no fear that you will win one or a few in your lifetime. So I'm not worried about that. Maybe an 8 scale one too. I think there's no way you cannot win an 8 scale one. So that's pretty good. Real quick before we get off 10th scale and we go to Nitro, you recently was at the Florida Carpet Championships. I am a big supporter of carpet and AstroTurf. I think it's the future. I think it's how we get people into racing. It's the gateway drug. What's your thoughts on carpet, Astro versus Ghost Tread Clay versus something versus I don't think we'll ever see it on a mains or a national event. Maybe outdoor, little bit loose, having to use pins. So what's your thoughts on the carpet Astro turf thing that I think is probably going to just be the norm here soon in America?
Yeah, it's definitely taken off. I'll touch real quick on the outside dirt. I miss it. I loved it. You had a lot more ability to just be a driver and explore. kind of do some dripping, make some corrections, and you can't do that on slicks. But with the way the cars are going now, I mean, even if we did go run those tracks, it would be absolutely miserable with the cars we have now. It would not work. I've done it before, and it's not super fun. It's, you think it's racing on slicks is hard. Take a lay down car meant for 100% grip and go run on 10% grip with some with some triple Ds or something. It's not super great. I know they do it in Florida, and I think they have a little bit more grip, and they've kind of got the car situated and stuff. But the cars are definitely not in going in that direction, and it's definitely not optimal, especially for the consumer. But as far as the carpet and Astro goes, I mean, I think it's fun. I love going and doing the Astro track at RC Madness every year. It's outside. It's kind of in that transition, so it's not super hot, it's not super cold, and always have fun with that. You're able to kind of just go all out. You don't have to worry about flipping, and you have a little bit more control as far as like whipping and landing on power, where you can't do that on carpet. Carpet, I kind of have like that love-hate relationship with. I show up and I'm just so pissed the whole first day because I cannot get around the track.
What is the difference between for carpet and Astro?
The AstroTurf to me is more similar to dirt than it is to. I feel like you have that grip level like you do similar, not as much as carpet, but you have the grip level where you're not like sliding around a ton. But there's give. So the track has that grass where it's a little bit tall, so it always has that give and that roll, and so it never flips. Gotcha. It'll do that, and then it'll just slide. And then with landing and stuff, you're able to land on power, and it's not quite. You're just not having those crazy transitions where on carpet you land, you're on a flat board, you go down, and you hit the flat, the flat ground, and your chassis bottoms out. And it just flips.
Right. Gotcha.
You're not doing that. So I like the Astro. I always end up liking the carpet by the end, but the first day is just really rough. I'm just super pissed the whole first day, like just over it. And then eventually kind of figure it out. I mean, I look like a goon the first 5 or 6 battery packs, just bouncing off pipes and getting passed by stock trucks. And it's rough. I just don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I do it enough. And coming from, we went straight from I believe it was AMS to that. So I did 10 scale dirt with Masters, and then I did the AMS Nitro, and then I showed up for carpet and running a 4.5 in the 4-wheel and a 5.5 in the 2-wheel, and it was a lot for sure. It just took a little bit, and then once you kind of figure it out, you just have to be so committed. You're going down the straightaway. I mean, I don't know, going 50, 60 miles an hour, and you just have to crank it, and if you miss by an inch, then you just blow your car to pieces. So it's tough, but once you kind of get that figured out, get that flow going, it's super fun. It's crazy how fast your cars go around the track, and I enjoyed this
to watch.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast it is. Especially when you're driving your car, it doesn't feel the same speed as what you're watching. But when you're watching other people go on the track, it's pretty crazy how fast the cars are able to go around.
I just think they've been doing it over in the I just saw how easy it was in the UK to set up a track in a hall, have a club race, and go home. And I think that's how we kind of promote and get people into what we're doing here. And then hopefully they graduate to more 10 scale stuff as well, but also get into the 8 scale side of things. That's my plan. That's the plan anyway. It don't always go like that, but
no, it's cool. It's nice when it's fresh carpet too, which normally these bigger races are. I mean, there's hardly any tire wear at all. I think with practice we went through 3 sets of tires per car.
That's perfect.
Which is less than dirt. I mean, once the track is in for a few months, for sure the tire wear comes up a ton. But it's nice, at these events there's no tire sauce, there's no prep. I mean, you literally just glue them up. Most of the time, you don't even clean the bead. You just put them on the wheel, glue them up, and you just go and run. And that's, we have a couple tire options to choose from. You pick which one you want. You kind of figure out the foam situation. Which you usually just don't run any in the front, and then the back you kind of have to figure out what you want. But it's pretty easy, which is a nice change from the dirt racing scene. And as far as the track goes, I mean, they build a flat, they kind of put all the carpet in, build a flat layout, and then they just pick the jumps up, walk out there, set them down, throw some tape on the bottom, and you're good to go. And a lot of these places do on-road as well. So at the end of the night, they just pick the jumps up, walk them off, and then you have an on-road track.
There you go. Easy for the clubs, easy for the track owners, easy for the drivers too. So I think it's definitely, people are fighting it, but it's just becoming more popular, and I just think it's the way to go, in my opinion. All right, let's touch on Nitro and then 2022, and then I'm going to let you go. I told you I wasn't going to keep you too long. So you've had a love-hate relationship with Nitro. This is where, I'm sorry, but this is where Joseph and I came up with the term fending. We have Mayfielding, which is when you Mayfield and like dominate. Then we have the fend is like when you make a mistake. You're so fast, you're so fast, and then like in the long mains, you struggled. No, not last year, not 2021. You had a good 2021.
Yep.
But you were considered mostly a 10 scale electric driver. When did you start focusing, like putting some focus to Nitro? And what has been the biggest struggle for you with Nitro?
Yeah. So, as I started out back when I was 7, or when I was 5, it was all 10 scale. I did all 10 scale for like 7 years or something like that before I got into the 8 scale side of things. There's a lot going on with the 8 scale stuff and the 10 scale stuff just in general. We can only do so much at the time, and my dad is running all over the place trying to get everything ready to go. So eventually got into the 8 scale side of things, and if you don't know what you're doing, the nitro stuff is very tough. Getting the engines tuned right, there's lots of engine failures and the mains and stuff back then. Just not knowing and having to learn the hard way. So
dude, I've seen you break some of the weirdest things too.
Yeah, there's definitely been that over the years. That's been unfortunately a big part of the 8 scale program for me.
Or bad luck, like 2014 in Thornhill when you just I was like, oh my, like nobody could see. I saw something similar at the Nats on that big sweeping corner off the, after you came around to go in the back part. Yeah. There was a rut there, and I watched you. I would say 8 out of 10 times you would be good. You was the only car that would go through that rut, by the way, because I saw the line that you was taking. But I saw one time, I think it was in the main, where you went there and you just flipped over the side of it, and I was like, "Oh no, it's 2014 all over again."
Yeah, but, I mean, there's definitely been some stuff that's happened. At the end of the day, it's my program and it's on me to figure that stuff out. Some stuff's been out of my control. I definitely have had a little bit of bad luck with those side of things, with just kind of some random stuff happening that, really isn't in my control. It's not anything that we did or didn't do. And, I've had some stuff happen that mechanically that was, my fault that, I should have taken care of beforehand. I've had some stuff on the track that's been out of my control. I've had some stuff on the track that, I've learned over the years how to be a little bit smarter, how to manage the car and manage the race as well. And learning, going 95% instead of 100% on the track doesn't make a big difference. Yeah, it doesn't make a big difference lap time wise once you kind of get into that rhythm, but the risk is a lot lower, and just kind of managing that, knowing when you're a little bit offline, just taking that 10th of a second to figure it out instead of making a bigger deal out of it, trying to not lose that 1/10 and it ended up being 2 or 3 seconds. So it took me a while to figure that out. Obviously, growing up, I did the 10 scale thing, which was 5 to 7 minutes. So you can go pretty hard with just 7 minutes, and then same thing with the 8 scale qualifying and stuff. So definitely took me a little bit to figure out the mains. I want to say that I could have, but you're owed absolutely nothing in this industry or racing in general. You're not owned a wood. It's not coulda, woulda, shoulda. But there's a lot of races that I was in a really good position, and stuff just didn't work out. So unfortunately, I don't have those wins that I want to have, and have that that resume to back it up. But the whole team's working really hard. We have a really good program under us, and everyone's putting in the effort and stuff. So we're starting to make it happen now.
Yeah, when I got in a little bit of trouble when I said this in when Cav left S-Works and went to TLR, I said, that now he'll have like the support that he needs to be good. And I heard this when you was talking about the preparation that you guys done for the Worlds and all that stuff. That's what I meant. Like that, Frank Root at home working. You have these guys that have been doing this for years. You have a team to help you out get things straight. So I'm not surprised that I think Cav's going to be even faster this year with the TLR. And I'll ask you about being his teammate here in a bit, but let's go through your year this year in Nitro. So did you go to SICK last year? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, I think I went 2 years ago. That was the only time I went.
All right, so DNC, you were super fast. You TQ'd. You finished 12th. PMB was decent. You had a 5th place finish. I don't remember if you TQ'd that or not. Now, the big thing was Silver State. Now, this is the thing. When I was at Silver State, the 2019, you was really fast there. You almost won Truggy, but you broke a shock tower. And then something happened. And this is like we don't get many tracks like Silver State anymore. You really disappointing finish for you. Your worst Nitro finish of the year was B main. How did that affect you? Did that affect you any bit? Did that shake your confidence, or did you just say, "Hey, let's get back to the drawing board and figure out why we didn't do well here"?
Yeah, I mean, we had some stuff, some new stuff going on there, and it really wasn't working how I wanted it to. So, I mean, it's definitely disappointing. You never want to have that finish. I mean, it definitely sucked, but just kind of motivated us to kind of go back and figure out what the problem was, and really work hard on it and make some progress. So we've gotten everything a lot better, and kind of the end of this year we've really figured out some stuff.
Yep.
And that's why I'm going out after Columbus, going out to California and do some testing on the 8-skill side of things. Make sure that we're good to go for DNC and Nationals, which are both coming up really quick, and just put the time and work in and do the best that we can. I think that if we have everything figured out, that we're going to be there, and we've been putting a lot of effort in trying to figure out how to make the car better for me in the mains, where I am able to drive and not have those mistakes and stuff, and have that comfort. I think we're figuring it out. We're making some progress.
Is your struggle concentration for the longer mains, or is it just different? Because I guess you just have to pace yourself more.
Yeah. I don't think it's really mental. Obviously, I think I've kind of definitely matured a lot over the last couple of years in the 8-skill side of things. But I mean, I've won a lot of truggy races and stuff over the last couple of years, so I know how to do the longer mains. It's really just kind of getting the program to be all synced up, and just making sure that I'm able to drive how I want to drive in the main, and have that couple percent backed off and still be comfortable. And obviously in the mains and stuff, the track is a lot bumpier. The line choice is a little bit different, so I definitely have had to work on that some. I have a little bit of a different line choice just in general than a lot of people.
You do.
And then when you throw the bumps and the square edges and stuff into it like that, I kind of have to figure out kind of how to manage that. I really don't like going outside and out in the fluff and going wide and like that. I'd much rather go inside, go slower, and go through the bumps. So we've had to, I think, make some adjustments myself driving wise, and then some adjustments to the car so I am able to go where I want to go.
Yeah, that kind of noticed that. Well, speaking of the Nats, where you finished 4th, by the way, which I think after a flame out, that we don't even know why you flamed out, because your car ran perfectly after that. The Nats that I think you could have won, I think it was either between you, Mayfield, and probably Tessman. Maybe throw Cole in there as well. It comes down to that rut. I watch you hit it every lap. I was like, why doesn't he change his line? But I was like, well, he wants to drive through there, so he's going to make it away. He's going to fight. Obviously, he's driving through there for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just I can see where it was fast and where it helped you. And then we went on to the Southern Nats, which was a good victory for you. I think kind of Mayfield lost that one. And then it was so weird because I slowed it down. I made a big deal about this. I slowed it down, and it looks like he was trying to get back in there, and you just went like, I'm got it. And like just kind of went over there and made sure he didn't get back in there. And then I swear, if you look at it, he was going to take you out on top of that hill. And I was like, oh, it went all wrong. But it was a good victory. You held on for that. Let's walk through that little, because that happened. That all happened so quick. You know what I mean?
It's hard when you go back and watch the slow-mo. You know, there's a lot of, this, he did this or he did that. But in the moment, it was 2 seconds from the double to the turn to the top, pretty much. So there's a lot that happened in that little time frame. I mean, I'll take you through, I guess, my perspective in the moment, because obviously there's a little bit different perspective in the moment versus when you go back and watch it. So in the moment, I landed the double and I was just kind of just doing my own thing. I didn't really know where he was going or what he was doing. He was kind of sideways when I was coming up to him, and then he kind of made that correction, and I just really didn't have time to really do anything other than I just let off the gas and just tried to go as far right as I could against the pipe without hitting that. And I kind of just I didn't really have anywhere to go from my perspective unless I just stopped and said, here you go, continue on. And we're at that point, like, I'm not going to do that for sure. And I would expect the same done to me. And it kind of, for sure worked out a lot worse for him. Like I said, it wasn't really my intention to even touch him. I just let off the gas, kind of went to the inside, and we definitely touched a little bit. And I think he was still out in the dust. He was still kind of correcting the car, trying to get it going straight again. So it kind of like whipped him sideways pretty aggressively. I think a lot more than how hard I actually hit him. And I'm for sure he probably wasn't very happy about it in the moment, but afterwards, we had a conversation about it, and it was all good.
It's racing, man.
We race together a lot. We've had a lot of intense battles, and I think that we both tried to. We both have that respect for each other, to race each other cleanly, but also as hard as possible. I think over the last few years we've had a lot of good battles. And it's just part of it. We go into the next race, and we're battling again, or we're racing each other again, and it's just another race. It's you move on and go on to the next one.
And the next one you dominated it, and you won AMS. People said it was a very 10 scale ish type of track, a lot of transitions and stuff. Different format for everybody as well, longer mains. I thought it was a dominating victory, and. Your biggest fan, the fabulous one. He messages me when he's listening to the podcast. So he was listening to like Max and JQ break down your driving, and he was getting so upset at us. And I was like, dude, I think you guys dominated. I'm happy for you. I can't pick you anymore because I've been officially banned from picking you. No, seriously, I've been threatened with acts of violence from TLR and Dakotah Phend fans.
Oh, that's funny.
It said, please, Lefty, do not pick him anymore. And then I stopped picking you, and you win. So I think I'm part of that too. I think TLR should thank me too. I'm only joking. Right. But Barry Baker has been influential in your program. He definitely believes in you. I've talked to him. The way he talks about you, I can see that he has a lot of admiration for your driving skills and just your ability as a professional. And I think that's some great backing and some great, to have somebody like Barry Baker thinking of you, and he takes it very seriously. So before we get off Nitro, how has Barry Baker helped your program? What changes can we expect in the car for 2022? Because I heard that you guys have a new car coming out. I know you can't tell us everything. And what changes do you plan on making as a driver going into this year? Because I assume the focus is more on 8 scale this year, being as it's a world year. So tell us about Barry Baker. If you can tell us anything about the new car, or if there is a new car, or if there isn't a new car coming along, I understand that you can't tell us. And what are your plans for 2022 Nitro wise?
Barry's been a huge influence on the program. He's been at that level at the top. So he understands that, which is a huge part of it. Having that mentality and just that knowledge and experience, he knows what it's like to be doing those battles and to be up there, and what you need from the car, generally speaking. And then he also obviously has some really good knowledge with car setups and stuff like that to specifically figure out what I need. So that's been a huge help. He is extremely dedicated, probably one of the most dedicated people I've ever met to, you know, what he's doing, what he's into. And he puts the time in, he puts a lot of effort in, making sure that the cars are good to go. You know, he runs a lot of home. Figures out some stuff, and we'll apply that. You know, same thing with Dunford. They're at the track running a lot, figuring out stuff, especially when I'm back here at home in the winter and stuff. Can't really do some running, so you know they'll figure some stuff out. I'll come out, we'll do some running, we'll figure out what else we need. You know, head back home, and they'll be putting some more effort in behind the scenes. So. Yeah, he's a huge part of the program. Like I said, he has that knowledge to figure out the setups. He's very good at being a mechanic and making sure that the cars are 100% good to go. It takes stress off of my shoulders. I don't have to worry about that. I can, worry about prepping tires, making sure I have the tires I need, making sure I make the right tire and compound decision, the engines, and watching the track and stuff, and then just anything else behind the scenes, making sure that the cars are good, or if Barry needs anything. So it's a huge help, and he'll hopefully be coming to some more races this year. I mean, mindset wise, it's definitely been nice to get a couple of Nitro Buggy wins. It's been a little bit, and we're definitely still super hungry, and I mean, show up to the next challenge, and hopefully I'll be able to make it happen. It's nice now that it's at a permanent facility that he does himself. We're able to go and do some running there, get some practice in, hopefully before Nitro Challenge, and we'll see what happens.
Good. So I guess we can't talk about the alleged new car or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, we always make a jump. We're always working on new stuff. I think it's no secret that that we have some stuff going on behind the scenes. So yeah, we're like I said, everyone's been working really hard, and we're making progress every week. I mean, I think that everyone can see the trend. Last year in 2021, how big of some changes that we made, how much better we've gotten everything. And yeah, I mean, AMS Southern Nats was great. It was pretty bumpy there. And then AMS was definitely more of a 10 scale style layout. It was very technical, but was really happy with how the car performed. It was able to do everything that I needed to do, and was consistent and stayed the same the whole main. So pretty pumped on that. And we're going to kind of take that, bring it out to testing, and make some changes for outdoor dirt, and see what else we need to do.
And just for people, FYI people, I remember when I walked into like the TLR camp, and then I walked into your trailer at the Nats, like everybody put a towel over the, I'm like, nobody has to put a towel over anything for me, because I don't know what I'm going to be looking at anyway. So you can leave all that new stuff out in front of me. But that's good, man. That's good. No changes for you in your program going into 2022? Still on JC tires, all that type of stuff, or nothing?
Yeah. Pretty much good to go for sure. Working on a couple things. But yeah, I'll still be running J Concepts tires. I re-signed with them. Jason and Paul and the whole team has been absolutely awesome. They're extremely motivated and really on their game as far as just the product in general, making sure that we have everything we need, and just the support that they have at all the races. Publicly and behind the scenes is pretty crazy. So I got to give it up to them. They give us all the best chance we possibly can to win. And same thing with TLR as well. They've been working really hard, and excited to continue with that. And Trinity as well. So excited for the year. Yeah. Yep.
Got your own line of stuff and everything. So let's plug that. Let's plug your own line of stuff. Go check out the Dakotah Phend line of Trinity motors and ESCs. I think they're coming up with ESCs now,
just the motors right now, for me, and then hopefully some more stuff in the future. I mean, we've made talk about some batteries and stuff as well, maybe in the future. I have the modified line for the 2-wheel and 4-wheel, and then also just recently announced and came out with a carpet line of motors as well.
Okay.
So that's been pretty cool, and just excited to get back to racing. It's been a little bit for me. had some time off, which was great. And I'm excited to get back out into the racing scene and get this year started off with a bang.
Sweet. I have a few more questions, then I'm going to let you go. I know you got an appointment here. How many weekends of the month are you usually on the road?
I would say on average about two weeks out of the month we're going. The beginning of the year is usually super, super busy. Normally kind of January through March range, it's on average like 3 weeks out of the month. It's tough with some of these races. We're flying out on Tuesday or Wednesday, and we're gone for pretty much a whole week. I definitely appreciate the shorter races where you're flying out on Thursday and have practice Friday, qualifying Saturday, May, and Sunday. But with how big most of the races are, it's an event for sure. Yep. And it's just they're getting longer and longer. But yeah, it's like I said, on average probably about two weeks out of the month, and then beginning of the year is usually a little bit busier than that.
And your wife, she was brought up in an RC family as well, so she kind of is familiar with it, and I've seen her always, she pitched you pretty good. She's good at it and all that stuff. That makes it a lot easier, when your spouse or your significant other understands what you do and gets it. So that makes life a lot easier, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. She grew up in the industry. Her parents' track, State Line, has had multiple nationals and stuff there, and they had their own big events as well while they were open. So she understands, which made it a lot easier, especially after we got married. Making that life transition. She knew what she was getting into. She knows how the RC thing works, how the industry works. So that's been helpful. And then, she's also been able to come to a lot of the races over the years. And, she wants to be a part of the program and put the effort in as well. So that's really cool. That's really cool to have that connection with her, and I have that passion as well. So yeah, it's still tough, but it's definitely makes it a lot easier that she understands.
Yeah, for sure. And not to mention the work that goes in prior to go into these races, that takes time and effort, and you guys weekends are during the week, so it's a little insight into life. How about having Cav on? Cav's been in the game for a very long time. I still think he has a lot of great years of racing left in him. He started to get fast with the S-Works near the end of his tenure there. I think we're going to see the same thing out of him this year. Do you guys work well together, bounce ideas off each other? Do you have similar setups? Anything, that could compare to each other? Do you help each other out?
Yeah, Ryan is awesome. It's been a pleasure to have him on the team. Super, super cool guy. He's had a really chill approach to everything. And just kind of taking his time and figuring this stuff out. And yeah, we definitely work well together. I think on the 10 scale side of things, we have a little bit of a closer setup direction that we want to go in. And it's good that we're still are a little bit different because he's able to go down a path and I am. And then we can, kind of compare a little bit here and there. Fortunately, I have a pretty solid program already. So, he's able to try, things here and there, and we're able just to kind of compare and see where we're at. And that's good. I think it's good for just the development of the cars in general, because we do drive a little bit different. We have a little bit different setup, so we can make sure that it's good, for us at that level, having a little bit different, and then we can have, other people drive as well and make sure that it's good for them and the consumers. And then on the 8 scale side of things, we definitely have a pretty different setups. But like I said, at the same time, we can still kind of come together and, say, hey, I tried this. This is what I felt, and go from there. So it's been really cool having him on the team. Like I said, he's an awesome guy, and was super fun last year.
Yeah, I think it's working out great for him. How did you get the nickname Phenom? I understand from Phend, and I know what Phenom means, but who was the first one to give it to you?
It was Jimmy Babcock back at one of the, I think it was the Superstock Nationals at his track. All right. He started saying that and kind of just took off from there.
Okay. You kind of touched on this earlier, but what has been the key to your longevity at TLR, and do you ever see yourself leaving?
Yeah, a lot of it has just been what my parents have instilled upon me about loyalty, and they've always, Horizon and TLR have always taken care of me, and I try to do the same back. I have a good relationship with Todd and stuff, so if I ever need anything, they've always kind of stepped up and done what they can to make that happen. And I want to be able to do the same for them. And I could, at this point, I don't really ever see myself leaving. I see myself just finishing my career out with them. They've become a real powerhouse in the industry, and I think they've proven that they're here to stay. They want to win, and they've been putting the time in. They've been putting the effort, and they've been backing it up. So, yeah, I have no plans on leaving. I mean, they have a full lineup, of everything possible for racing. And everything.
They have everything else in RC too. I've had this. I think TLR is here to stay. I think it's great to see them putting the effort back into racing. I think you're a great example. I get it, but when you get to your level of things, a lot of these decisions that these guys made are made monetarily wise as well too, which is understandable because this is your job, and you like. At the end of the day, people fail to realize that it's a job just like anybody else, and you have to make money doing it. If you ain't going to make money doing it, then it ain't make sense doing it. But I think a lot of people can look at people like yourself, like I said, Neil Craig. Another person who's been a long stalwart with a brand would be somebody like Mick Craddock, not a driver, but, and we don't see this very much at all in the industry anymore now. People jump, and I would love to see I would love to get together with the team manager and figure out a way to fix that a little bit, or just slow it down a little bit, so we have some more loyalty to brands and stuff like that, so everybody can kind of benefit. But TLR as a powerhouse in the RC in racing has definitely 2021. If 2021 didn't stamp that in people's brains, then I don't know what did. But that's a great segue, because I told you I was going to talk about this. The TLR AE beef, the rivalry, maybe not as bad as it was back in the 90s, from what I heard. I definitely think that you and Rivkin have a rivalry going on. I think you've gotten into each other at races. I think I could be wrong. I generally think you guys may respect each other as racers, but maybe not like each other, which is fine. This is racing. This is you guys are competing. I noticed that when you guys do a live, like you do your live and he'll do his, and I love all this. I love it because we need this. So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, I know you can't touch on as much, but I definitely think you and Rivkin have something going on. Top AE talent, 10 scale and 8 scale in America. You're the top TLR talent, 8 scale and 10 scale in America. TLR associated two American brands that kind of came up. Of course there's rivalry there. Of course there is.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard back in the day some pretty crazy stories about the TLR and AE rivalry. And, I think people still kind of have that mentality a little bit. And I think it's probably not anywhere near as crazy as it used to be, especially from the actual manufacturers to each other. I think everyone for the most part is friends, and there's just not that crazy rivalry anymore between the teams. But I think that a lot of the people just around kind of still have that mentality, and there is that rivalry, which brings it back up and kind of makes you think about it and stuff. Which I think it's good. People are able to kind of pick sides and get into it and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think me and Spencer are similar ages. I think he's a few years younger, but similar ages. I mean, we've had a lot of races together, and for sure had our fair share of incidences. But it's part of the racing. It's going to happen no matter what. And I'll continue to race him as cleanly as I can. And I think we both have respect for each other as far as the racing and the dedication and stuff goes. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of a rivalry there. I mean, we both obviously want to win, so that means beating each other as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's anything crazy, but I could totally see why people get into it, and
I love it.
It's as long as it doesn't get out of hand or get to crazy. Of course.
Well, I think when you look at all other forms of sports and racing, there's always some great rivalries between companies, between factions, between drivers or individuals. So I'm all for that. And it's you always are racing for a paycheck. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and I think we need to kind of get away from the hey, good luck to everybody. It's more like, hey, let's go up here and we're gonna race, and whoever wins. And we don't all have to be happy about that at the end of the day. So rivalry's great, man. We need it. And the beautiful thing about that is that we'll see this for another 15 years, hopefully, between you and Spencer. And then somebody else will be involved in that. Because the younger guys are going to be coming for you guys here in another 5 years. So
yeah, I know. It's the time's going by quick.
So, all right. In closing here, do you have any interest or any hobbies outside of RC?
I mean, like I said, I'm really into cars, so love going to car shows. And for a little bit, I was kind of going out and doing track days out on road courses and stuff. But just got too busy with life and RC and stuff, and haven't had time to do that anymore. So kind of got out of that. There's obviously a lot of costs in that, and a lot of time and effort, into prepping the car, and just didn't have the time for that anymore. So. Got out of that, but still love doing that. So we kind of have, like, with it there being like snow and stuff in the winter, we have like different seasons of sports and things to do. Okay. So in the winter, we're me and Chloe are both into snowboarding and stuff. So try to get out at least a few times, do some snowboarding. I think we're gonna try to this year, but last year after Nitro Challenge, we stayed after. Had a group of like 10 of us go out and go snowboarding up at Big Bear. So that was super fun to kind of, have those RC connections, and then just kind of, leave the race behind, go out and have some fun, and just do some snowboarding. So enjoy that in the winter. And then in the summer, we have a boat, so we go out and do wake surfing and wakeboarding and stuff. So have a blast with that. We just got into that last year.
Oh, really?
Picked up the boat in April, so we were out on the water as much as possible, and
you should come down here. You would enjoy kiteboarding. That's like where I live. Cabarete. I live about 10 minutes. It's like the mecca for kiteboarding. And
that sounds sweet.
Plenty of schools down there, and you'll see like a couple of hundred kites out there, and windsurfing too. So you would like that type of stuff, I think. And it's a great place to come for you and your wife, as well as a vacation. Come to the DR, everybody.
All right, I'll have to check that out. I think I've heard of it before, but don't know a ton about it, so I have to look that up.
You probably heard it's crazy and you shouldn't come here, but it's awesome. it's backed right now with tourists. All right, so you are a young driver as well as a veteran. Is there anything you would like to see return from back in the day?
Man, it's tough to. I mean, the industry has changed so much. The people have changed a lot. I definitely miss the good old mentality back in the day. I think just being younger in general in the industry, it's different now when it's, you do it for a living and stuff. It's a lot more serious, but I definitely miss the club racing side of things. I don't really get to do that much anymore, and just watching and paying attention, so I definitely miss that. Like I said, back in the day, that's, we go every weekend, and there was, 8 to 10 different people that could win a club race in a modified buggy. And, now there isn't even a modified buggy class at most of these tracks.
Yeah.
So
that was one of my questions. Is mod dead? Is mod dead on a level in America now where it's just not happening?
I think that's coming back now. Mm-hmm. I think people are over the whole stock thing. I mean, stock is super expensive compared to modified. Mm-hmm. All the extra parts you need, and the weight savings, and going through all the motors and batteries, trying to find that perfect one and stuff. And mod, you just charge up and go drive. You don't even have to charge your battery all the way. So I think that's nice, and that's appealing to a lot of people now. But I think it just kind of went through that phase, mm-hmm. With the stock, and I don't know, we'll see. I think that there's also a lot of big races now, so people will save up their vacation and do, one big race every 3 months, and then they don't do any of the club racing anymore. So I think that's a lot different now as well. I've heard from back in the day, before my time, there'd be, 4 or 5 big races a year, and that was it. And then everything else was just the club racing and local races and trophy races and stuff. So I really miss that. It was great, kind of connecting with the locals around you who are into the same thing, and being able to go and have fun and, do club race that's, 1 or 2 days if it's a big trophy race. And it's just not really like that anymore. So I miss that. I wish that would come back. I wish I had the time to do it if it did come back.
Right. Because you can get to too many big races.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just tough now. I mean, people always ask me, oh, hey, you know, come club race here. But one, if I have a weekend off, you know,
exactly,
RC is probably not what I want to be doing. And two, if I have a weekend off, normally I'm prepping the whole week for the next big race. And if I go run on the weekend, then, you know, I'm having to re-prep or, you know, have different cars that I'm running that aren't what I race with. And it's just tough nowadays. And I mean, it's, you know, it's great to hang out, but as far as like testing and stuff goes, it's kind of a waste. It's a lot easier just to go and do a test day and you get to run, you know, 20 times more than you do on a club race.
And you need to turn off. You know what I mean? You need to go and have enjoy your weekends just like everybody else. I get that 100%. 100%. So, all right. I guess in closing, as a younger person, I don't see you as a younger person though. That's the thing about it. Like, so as a younger person, and now we have this, you know, the social media world, and you know, it's a lot of things that compete with RC. You know, because RC is hard, and you know, we have gaming and all this type of stuff. Would you like you know, I'm always about how do we grow this? How do we get things? How do we get more young people? I get it. We need to get young families like you was into this. What would you like to see change in RC to help promote it, get more people in? Do you have any ideas for this?
I do think that the race schedule needs to change. How many days it is, it's not feasible for a lot of families during kids to leave for 5 days.
Yes.
You know, or you know, even three school days or 4 school days. You know, of most of these races, you're having to get there on Tuesday, and then there's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then you travel back home. You miss Monday as well. So it's, you know, it's 5 days of school or 5 days of work. So that's really tough on a lot of families, and it's more expensive. So I think something needs to change with that. And then I also think that to get it a little bit more mainstream, you're going to have to change the race program. Because I think the top, like the 3 consecutive lap seating is pretty easy to understand, but qualifying, for some reason, it's very hard to explain to people to where they actually understand it. It's a very simple concept when you break it down, but actually getting people to follow and really understand what's going on is very difficult to do. So I think how some of these races are trying different programs out, I think that's what we need to be doing. I don't think that we're necessarily I don't think we found really the right one. You know, I don't mind trying new things. I don't think that like how we did with AMS, I'm not bashing or anything, but I don't think that it was really exactly the right direction to go. But it was something and we're trying it.
What would you like to see us do for qualifying? What would you think would be ideal?
I just think that we had that much time to qualify, but then really it didn't really matter because you go and do that 10-minute
right, the 10-minute super
that 10-minute race, super pole race that kind of seeds you. So I think if we're going to do that, then you know, which this would be difficult to do with a large group of people, but I thought it was super cool, and maybe you kind of adapt a little bit at one of the INSs at Hobby Action. Before each qualifier, we would all go and do one warm-up lap and then one hot lap. And that hot lap would seed you for the qualifier, which a qualifier you'd race heads up, just like the Super Pole. And wherever you finish, that would be the qual point that you get. So I thought that was cool because I totally understand, hey, we need to do more heads-up racing so that people can follow it. People can get into the racing and the battling and that side of things. So we need to try to figure out how can we do more racing. But still get people where they need to be at and where they should be finishing and where they should be qualifying and stuff. So, yeah, I think we need to do just less qualifying, less.
I think we
need
to make it
more
cool
heads up.
too. I think we need to make it cooler and to compete with gaming and all that. Because you look at the gamer dudes, they're all cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like these are nerds that sit there. I mean, we're nerds too. You know what I mean? But just we actually get out there and do physical stuff. I love gaming, by the way, don't get me wrong. But I think we can take a lot of notes from that, and I think it comes down to letting you guys express yourselves a little bit more and having you guys embrace social media and just embracing that lifestyle. I know it's hard, you know what I mean? And you come from an old school type of RC background.
Yep.
But I think we just need to get more charisma into the industry, more storylines, more, qualifying, all that type of stuff. We need to make it interesting. And
yeah,
I think I try to do that with certain things like my silly little write-ups and all that stuff. And I just think it's not just one person. I think it's in general. We all need to kind of do it. So
yeah,
I would like to see you guys embrace your roles. Maybe I get it. Like sponsors don't allow you to really speak your mind, but sometimes you got to say things and like, hey, I don't like the way that guy took me out. I'm gonna get him the next time and stuff like that. And I think that's what we lack in RC, just that. And we've made it so vanilla now, but I think we can change that. Just make it cool, make it fun for these kids to come to, make it easier too. I think I think easier is coming in a way we probably don't really think about. Maybe it's coming in the form of setup apps.
Which is a thing now. There's setup apps now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you've seen those, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, do you use it? Because I had the owner on her, and he explained all the stuff you can do with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is going to make racing so much. If people embrace this will make racing easy for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I haven't used it as much as I should because, like you said, it's actually super cool. He put a lot of time and effort into figuring out what people are actually going to use and what people want. I haven't used it as much as I want, but I do have some setups on there and stuff. Yeah. I kind of have tried like the notes section out, and it's a pretty cool concept and idea that he has going.
There's so much out there, dude. You can only do so much and focus on racing and focus on your real life after that. You know what I mean? So there's an amount of time that we have. So, I think that we do need to do a little bit more social media, a little bit more interacting. That was one of the good things that came out of COVID and the whole shutdown was being able to interact with people more. That was really cool. Doing the lives, similar to this, where we're actually having a conversation, conversing with each other instead of just doing your own, Facebook Live where you're just talking into a camera and no one's talking back. There's no real conversation. It's just you kind of just keeping the conversation going and answering questions as they pop up. So I really liked having being able to talk to somebody or having a group of guys that can have a conversation and the people can kind of just come more and hang out with that group. But it's definitely tough. We're not seeing as much as that anymore. Everybody was doing that back then, but now that we're back racing, there's pretty slim pickings. You try to get on once a month and do something here or there, but there's just there's only so much time. So we need to have less races or go to less races or kind of split it up a little bit more or figure out something. Sweet. Well, dude, I appreciate your time. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you. I learned a lot about you. Like I said, I'm a fan of your racing. Now that I know you a little bit more personally, I can I'll talk to you more at the track, and whatnot.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I just never knew how to approach you because you always seem so stoic. That's the word I'll look at. I'm like, I talk to him, I make some jokes, he laughs, and then, getting to talk to you, I think you're very mature, especially for 24 years of age, but you had to grow up in an industry that was full of grown men. I think you have many, many national titles, lots of world's titles left to grab. And I look forward. I'm still not gonna pick you, even though I'm not.
We'll give a little bit of time.
Yeah. Let's just make sure that me picking you is not, dude. People generally blame me for your losses, but it's fun. It's all part of the game, and I think it's fun, and I think it makes it interesting. And I look forward to seeing what you do this year. We have Worlds coming up. We have a lot of big races here in this first quarter, so you're gonna be busy. Thank you for your time. Maybe we get you back on her this year when you win some of these races because there's only a matter of time.
Sounds good.
It's only a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. And thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck at CRCRC, and you're not going to SIC. And I'll see you at DNC.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you. So that ends our podcast for this week, everybody. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Thank you to Dakotah Phend for his time. Thank you to Tony Newland and RC Kevin for that time. We was kind of recording kind of late. We kind of faded. But we got it in, and I hope you guys enjoy our new look on 10 scale racing. I'm learning about it, and hopefully we can make some waves in there and get people thinking differently about stock as well, because I'm starting to get converted. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. Shout out and say thank you to all of the people that support this podcast. We can't do it without you. Safe travels to everybody that's heading out to SIC today. Have fun. First big race of the year. We made some picks, JQ and I, on the live. I can't remember who I picked, obviously. And yeah, looks like it's going to be some good racing. We look forward to our recap of that next week with Jared Tebow, probably Jared, Max, and myself. We'll talk about that race. Get ready for those questions so Max can answer next week. And hey, man, we're excited. The race season has started. SIC is the first of many races. We got SIC. We got Nats warm up with TNR race on the same day. Oh, man, we got a lot of racing going on. And then we got the big enchilada, which is DNC. With that said, I want to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. Shout out to the patrons of the NNRC. We can't do it without you. I can't do it without you. I appreciate the extra support you guys give me. If you like what we're doing here, if you like what I'm doing here, please go over to the Patreon. It's in the written description of this podcast. Click on that link, and every little bit helps. Yeah. RC doesn't pay that good, so Patreon helps really a lot. All right. Also, shout out to the awesome companies that advertise and support the NNRC. They are, of course, Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, TNR Fuels, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, JQSM, JTP RC, Klinik RC, GSpec RC Tuning, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Racecraft USA, Klinik RC, House of RC, RCGP. Important to remember that. Sign-ups are coming with them soon for RC2 and RCGP in March. So pay attention to House of RC, because that's where you'll be signing up. Yeah, thank you to all those companies. Shout out to my boy Eddie Fikes and his rub. I have it right here. You guys, go cop yourself some of Uncle Eddie's special seasoning. It's good on everything. It's my second bottle. I use it on everything. Thank you to RC Kevin. Thank you to Tony Newland for that time. And shout out to, special shout out to like David Ranafalk, Alex Hagberg, Jared Tebow, and those guys who take time to support the podcast. That means a lot to me. And I am so excited for this season. You guys don't know. So with that said, you know what I'm going to say? Nitro is the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding, you're sliding. And, hey, SIC, let's go. Let's go. I predict it's going to be a good race. Did you see that rhythm section? You know what? Lefty and nobody else here. So Lefty is out. And, yeah, have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. We greatly appreciate all the support and love from you, the listeners. Without all of you, none of this is possible. Special thanks to our patrons on Patreon. If you wish to support the podcast further, you can at patreon.com/NNRC podcast. As a patron, you will receive early releases, special content, and patron-only giveaways. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, www.nnrcpodcast.com. Remember, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. If you aren't having fun, it doesn't make sense. And if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Lefty out. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory.
so bad.